It's coming, boys.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something. While the intro's rolling, guys, let me know my voice sound good, sound clean. Hit a thumbs up if you hear my voice clean.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the last time I'm letting this run and then we'll get this started. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something. You know what? Let's get it, man. I'm seeing a little bit of people up in here. We might as well get the damn thing started. Let's not keep it running too long.
El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the hopefully I'm all good, guys. I roll over something. What's good? Mike is in the building. Welcome to a Freestyle Sunday, guys. It's very exciting to be on tonight. It's a little bit different because, as you guys know, I've been doing this in the garage. Usually you see my bikes behind me, but today you get to actually see my other bike, the Peloton. Nah, it doesn't count. Currently, I'm in my home office, guys. I kind of set it up where it's kind of a rough setup for now, but we will be making small changes to make it a little bit more warm and fuzzy on the inside for moto riders. But very excited tonight for tonight's stream. First of all, I'm in the AC, staying nice and cool, and we can chill all night if we have to. All right. But more importantly, we have a really dope guest tonight that's gonna really put a little bit of a spin on the whole moto vlogging game and road racing and really being part of the community. We're gonna have Dude Mungus in the building. Very excited to have him on. Very energetic individual with lots of energy, a lot of positive energy. So I think that's gonna be something very cool for us to kind of see. Hopefully he can actually match his mind, all right? Oh man, but we're gonna do what we do best, guys. Right before we get into anything and everything, when we start talking about the channel, we pay our dues and get those bills paid before we get into the actual stream, guys. All right. Just want to kind of do a big shout out for Motivation USA for always supporting the channel, showing love, and basically supplying a means for me to do this over and over all the time, every day. I mean, every week. And also keeping my bikes looking nice and spicy, guys. It's motivationusa.com, the only place I shop for all my parts. Come on, man. Let's zoom in a little bit, just kind of make that a little bigger. Whether you're looking for parts, carbon fiber wheels, exhaust, pretty much tools, guys, this is where I shop for most of my stuff for my bike. And just letting you know now, it's the only place for you to kind of grab what you might need for your bike. And just because I ride a Ducati, and usually see pretty much all Ducati stuff on my channel, they carry stuff for all makes and models and brands. So it's not just a Ducati-centric kind of thing. You can get whatever you're looking for, whether, you know, it's sliders, exhausts, freaking air filters, you can get it there. All right, just had to kind of let you guys know that. And anyways, the reason why I always point out these companies is because I don't really sell anything. I don't push anything out to anybody. But these companies help, you know, pay the bills. And if you want to support the channel, you want to support the stream continuously, see us do these every Sunday. The way you want to do that is by hitting those links in the description, whether you're shopping for anything for your motorcycles, cleaning parts and stuff like that. That's where you have to go and get them. And that's how we keep the ball rolling on the channel. So always appreciate that. But we have to highlight one more company, guys. And just keep in mind, there are other companies coming on. We are in the talks. It's in the works. You know, as long the business aspect is right, they can get on. We can do some of this marketing with them. But we're going to give a big shout out to Hard Knocks Coffee, guys. Really dope company. They provide company for MotoGP. And the owner of this company is a rider himself, whether you're looking to, you know, get coffee for your friends or as a gift or candles, stuff like that. Always great if you want to hit that link and show support, right? Always great way to kind of contribute without having to go out of your way and do way more than you need to. So always appreciate it, guys. So for now, let's do the next thing we usually do. Pretty much say what's up to everybody, and that's here to show love and support and stuff like that. I think I'm way too excited about tonight because I'm running out of words, you know what I mean? But it's all good. Let's put up the chat and quickly say what's up to everybody before we kind of dive into the actual. I'm going to say this now. It's so much easier to actually do all of this stuff when it's nice and comfortable in the space. Like I'm not like sweating or drenched and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit easier, man. Let's say what's up to everybody. I'm seeing already some familiar faces. I have Jack in the Box. Liking it 10 minutes before it starts because I know the stream's going to be lit. Like always. Yeah, man. We have Sazong Moto. I've been saying your name incorrect the entire time. I was saying Sazong before, and someone corrected me and says Sazon. Sazong is like the cooking thing. That's what my wife was like. You know, that's like the what's that? It's like an ingredient to cook for flavor. That's what it is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What's good? Wifey's here. Always great to see her, showing love and support. Man, I wouldn't be able to do most of this stuff without her being here all the time. And Retrill 88. What's good, sir? The ATL is in the building. Let's get it. Oh, man, it feels good to be in the AC doing this, man. What's good, Mike? Randy's Reality. He's a past guest on the show. And again, just keep in mind, guys, anybody that's been on the show before, the door is always open. You can always come through and come back, whether you're promoting a product, you want to just have a conversation, something new is going on. The doors is open. Come through, say what's up. And yeah, don't hesitate to send me a message, man. Everybody's welcome on this space. We have Cali Moto in the building. I think he's back on YouTube now. He took a little bit of a hiatus. Him and his lovely lady that rips harder than me that I will ever rip in my life. These guys are a badass duo on YouTube and Instagram, man. Definitely give them a follow or a sub. We have Hitman Trill. Oh, wait. I jumped the person. Futuristic Viper. What's good, everyone? What's up, sir? And we have Hitman Trill. Hopefully I'm saying that, man. Let's see what we got. Guys, if you tuned in right now, so far we have quite a few people, man. All right? Current people viewing, we have 17. There's only 13 likes. I don't know why there's 4 missing. What's good? Should we just stop the stream now, or are you going to hit that thumbs up? What's good? All right, here we go. Keep bringing it down here. Of course, Dude Mungus is already in the chat, greeting other people, loving that as well, man. Solo Rider 82. What's good, Bike Fam? Another Sunday, another great stream. Let's get it, man. Like I said, let's get those thumbs up, man. We have a couple of people on here, and we're short a couple of thumbs up. I'm not asking for a lot. Let's get it. It's going to help with the algorithm, and this is the only way that the channel will grow and we get more people. Governor D, nice. Always around, always showing love. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate it, man. Mr. Black Moses, salute. This is my favorite part of doing the stream, just seeing people coming through and showing love, man, or at least past guests coming through, still coming through and watching. It just feels right. So, you know, it's like the payback or the give back, you know what I mean? One hand washes the other, so it's all good. What's good? Jack B. Quick was in the building last episode, guys. His episode has about, 300 views. I would love to see his episode push up to 1,000 views, only because the guy is so chill, so laid back. It was such a great conversation. When I went back to the home, to the house, my wife was like, this could have went a lot longer, and it was a really cool, intriguing conversation with him. And it was just so freaking scorching hot in the garage, and I just couldn't sit in there anymore, so I ended up coming in. So definitely check out that conversation. Really dope guy, very interesting. So let's see what else we got before we went any further. We have Power Moto. Hopefully I'm saying that right, man. Tuned in. Hey guys. Yes sir, we're seeing a lot of people. The thumbs up are actually catching up. Thank you guys. By the way, it took a handful for me to move all of this equipment from the garage to my home office, restructuring it pretty much from this morning. I've been working on that till the very last minute of getting the clips ready to go for Dude Mungus before he comes on today. So really, really, really cool. All right, cool. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I am going to pull off those comments, man. I want to bring Dude Mungus, but before we do that, man, I'm gonna roll a clip of him just to give him a proper welcome. It's one of those things I really enjoy doing on the channel, and at any time you do not see B-rolls, clips are rolling through, it just means I was a little bit tight for time, and I didn't get an opportunity to actually cue him. All right, let's take a quick look at Dude Mungus before we get him on.
This stuff is stout, but this bike is so raw. I'm gonna miss that raw twitchiness of this bike, man, because that shot makes you ride it, bro. Like, you have to ride it. You can't just, the bike don't ride itself. Like, you literally have to ride it. And I'm definitely gonna miss that about this daggone bike. And it's very bittersweet, because I did start my channel on Deadshot, and I met a lot of people because of Deadshot, and just being Deadshot's interaction, how I modified Deadshot. Like, I met a lot of cool people, And Dude Mungus was established with this bike, so it's extremely bittersweet to get rid of this bike. But I think it's time to move on, to go do something different, and I think the bat is going to be very good for that.
I'm just gonna leave that here because this conversation goes a little bit further on this vlog, but let's give Dude Mungus that warm welcome, people. Yes, sir, if you're in the building, you can come through and you'll be able to see him, man. Say what's good to the people, Dude Mungus.
Hey, what's up, what up, what up? What up, dudettes? What it do?
What's good, big homie?
Hey, Clutch First, Mr. New York, what's up, homie?
Oh my God, yo, I like that. I'm about to steal that, Mr. New York. Oh shit, okay, I like that.
Heck yeah.
Yo, I'll take it, man. Dude, it's been a minute since you've been in the game coming up, and I'm just gonna tell you now, I bumped into your channel because of your Ducati originally. Cause I love Ducati and I ride them all the time. So I'm like, yo, it's nice to see another young, positive dude doing vlogging on a Ducati. And I remember when I started up, I was like the only one on a Ducati, and it was not one of the fancy ones. To me, it was everything I really loved, but it wasn't something that was a big deal. It was just a monster. It's still in the garage. Still love that bike.
Yeah.
But that's how I bumped into your channel, man. So tell people a little bit about yourself, man, before we go any further into anything.
Hey man, Dude Mungus, man. I'm just a regular dude, man. That's what I built my channel on. I'm just a regular guy, just enjoying motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles since 2005. Just being in the YouTube industry and meeting different people. I've been on just about every sport bike, cruiser, adventure bike you can think of, and I just love them all. So that's me, just a normal guy, father, dad, that's what I do.
I think when you say you love all bikes, man, it definitely is absolutely true, man. Because a lot of us, we tend to get into a specific brand that we like. You know how it is. Once they get you in the very beginning, once a brand catch a hold of you in the beginning, you buy their either beginner bike, and then you get the middle, and then you get the super bike. You're pretty much with the brand. You know what I mean? I think you don't share that sentiment.
I don't.
No.
I don't. And what did it for me is I used to work at a motorcycle dealership. It was Lawrenceville, Honda, Yamaha. And before then, if it wasn't a sport bike, I didn't even look twice at it. It didn't even matter if it wasn't a sport bike. But working there as a PDI technician, and then I went to a full technician, I got to ride everything. ATVs, dirt bikes, cruisers, adventure bikes, everything. And I fell in love. That's when I learned every bike literally has a purpose. And I was like, you use it for that intended purpose. And it's great. Absolutely great.
That's really dope, man. I never knew you worked at a dealership. So what was that experience like?
That was pretty cool. So in 2012, I left the career I was in to go down to MMI Orlando, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. So I got certified in Kawasaki, Suzuki, BMW, and Honda and Yamaha. Graduated at the top of my class. And I came back and I worked in the industry for probably about 2 years. Then the dealership ended up getting bought out by a bigger dealership, and that's when I end up leaving, the motorcycle industry. But I still retain my knowledge, and that's why I work on my own bike today.
Oh, that's a really dope little gem, guys. I've seen a lot of your videos, and I know you work on your own stuff. Your channel is not completely centered around like doing the how-tos. It's basically part of the benefit of being part of your channel. You have a wide array of content that you produce, and I think what's cool, I told Jack B. Quick the same thing. I love seeing channels that are very early on, between the 1,000 to like 6,000, because you could really start feeling things out and doing exactly what you want, and then not worrying about the growth and stuff like that. So that's really dope.
Right, exactly. Hey, that's one thing I appreciate about YouTube, man. It's YouTube, man. Do what you want to do on the tube. Like, I got it.
I think a lot of people tend to forget that, man. Even myself, I've gotten to a point where I forgot that for a little bit.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you my story as to why sometimes I feel like I forget some of that stuff. I think I get into the numbers, the analytics, and really trying to find my way. And then you start skewing a little bit. You're basically finding like either trends or what's going to work.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get your feet wet. And I think what tends to happen there early on is that
once you're putting a lot of time, you're putting a lot of money into it, and things are somewhat not working the way you want it to, then you start looking elsewhere, and you forget it's about you.
Yep. Exactly. And something I do, something I just, like, I don't, it might sound weird, I hope it don't sound rude, but I don't care enough to figure out the algorithm. I'm literally just doing what I enjoy, and what I think is fun. So that's kind of how I just stay true to myself and keep on pushing, because that's the stuff I like to do.
It's tough to kind of do that, early on, very, very early on when I started doing YouTube, I felt the same exact way. And I think it's possible that I got burned out at some point. Yeah. I just wanted to do creative stuff, do fun projects and stuff like that, really showing skills with like camera and graphics and stuff like that and telling stories.
Right.
And I felt the more I dove into that, the more I kind of started expressing myself and then spending hours on projects, maybe weeks on projects. The return wasn't as much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure.
It's a toughie, man. It's a toughie.
It is, yeah. YouTube is very time consuming, which is something I didn't know when I got into YouTube. It's very time consuming to produce a quality product that's enjoyable to watch, but also enjoyable to hear. Audio is very important, but it takes some work, man. I thought it was just shoot the video, put it up, and done. Nah, it don't even work like that.
So what's been your experience with that? You're saying it does take some time. There's a lot of work and effort. A lot of people, let people know. I know there's a lot of us that are watching this that are fairly new or starting out understanding. First, when I tell people exactly the amount of work it takes, they think that I'm either bullshitting or deterring them or something like that. But it's something you learn very quick, very early on.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like it's easy to pull up a YouTube video and watch it, but something that goes behind the scenes, like me and one of my good friends, Jack B. Quick, talk about this quite frequently. Like we'll go to Tennessee. We went to Tennessee to meet, next thing you know, 2 minutes of editing, they see you load up the bike, and next thing you know, you in Tennessee. That 2 minutes of editing was really like an hour, getting the bikes loaded up, getting them strapped down, making sure nothing's gonna wiggle and move, and then, you got to drive, and you got to travel, and if you work, you might be tired or something, but hey, I got to get to Tennessee because we got this meet, so you just got to go. So, what you guys might see in a 15-minute video, that's literally like, probably 3-4 hours worth of stuff that we had to, okay, let me chop this down and see how I can tell the story without giving them 4 hours of footage. So it's intense, man.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's a little bit more challenging, having, sitting there, shooting the content, going through all of it, uploading it, and then not getting the same return you've actually put into it. But one of the things that I saw about your channel that I really like, let me just kind of roll this real quick, so hang tight. Okay. Just want to show you guys something that's really cool. So even though someone's being themselves on YouTube and they are, producing content that people want to see, and they're doing stuff that they really like, what I thought that was really cool about Dude Mungus's channel is the fact that he's using his early on time to kind of get a feel on how things work, or at least what works best. He runs this small little show. I guess I wouldn't say show, more like series, that I think is really, really dope. That it's called Mungus Tip. So he gives random tips between. I think it's really, really dope. Guys, take a quick look. Oops.
Mungus Tip. Hey, dude and do that. Say what up, it's your boy Dude Mungus. Today, what I want to talk about, just a little tip for the Mungus Tip, what I do to keep this exhaust daggum clean. Heck yeah. Looking good. We're in a little dark little spot, but it do be looking good though. Even up in there with the headers is looking good. So, let me talk about 2 products I use to keep my exhaust clean. Alright, here we go. So the 2 products I use, WD-40 and Lemon Pledge. And I know you guys are like, really, Mungus? Lemon Pledge? Yes. When I had my Ducati, when I had that shot, it was recommended to me from Ben.
So I let that clip run just specifically so you could say the 2 brands. Yeah. Dude, my man said Lemon Pledge and WD-40. So The reason why I thought is really cool, I like the Among Us tip segment that you do.
Appreciate that, bro.
The reason why I like about them, I feel like a lot of, you know what, let me rephrase that. A lot of motorcycle content creators tend to not have a very good understanding of marketing and branding. I don't know if this is purposely done the way you're doing this, or you happen to stumble upon it. How in your tips, for example, some of them you talk about GoPros, you talk about, you know, fitting it properly, or a 360 camera, something like that. Those are great spots for like dropping product placements for future endeavors. I thought that was something really dope. I don't know if it's something you stumble on, or if it's something that you're doing subliminally, or if you don't know yet. So I thought that's a great way of doing that. It's very subtle too also. So I don't know, just walk me through that. Is it something that you do also?
Yeah, cool. I appreciate it. The Among Us tip idea came around last year, around Christmas. I participated in something called Vlogmas, and I had a lot of talks with a few other motor vloggers, and we were talking about if you can make a quick video that sticks to one point, because a lot of times we make these videos and so much happens in them that it kind of gets lost sometimes. It's like, okay, if I can just stick to one area and focus on one product, I can get this out, and it actually won't take a lot of time. And a lot of times if you're looking for a quick fix or a solution, like a lot of times with the GoPros, it might be an issue. Like, yo, let me just make a 2-3 minute video that talks straight about this issue. I'm not going into vlogger mode where I talk a little bit too much. I'm going, this is the issue, this is how you solve it, this is the solution, you're done. Video's over. So I just wanted to make something that's quick, to the point, and you're done. So it's a Among Us tip, and just little things I picked up throughout my motorcycle career, and just as I've been vlogging going on 3 years, just little tidbits, you know, that I kind of learned along the way. And a lot of these tips that I give are just questions I get. Like when I had Deadshot all the time, how do you keep your exhaust so clean? How was it getting that beautiful color? How was it doing it? And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just share some of the knowledge that I've gotten, you know, and just kind of help out.
So again, you know what? Like I said, it's really dope. So for example, the ethos of that was really you doing Vlogmas. But I'm gonna drop a big gem on here for you guys that are doing YouTube, or people that are considering joining YouTube. You see a lot of Vlogmas things happening every year. Everyone's uploading from the 1st of December to the last of December. So the deal behind that, just kind of give you guys, again, you have to hit the thumbs up if you're watching. I am tired of people being stingy about knowledge, about information. I'm going to be sharing little bits and pieces. Vlogmas is all about making bank, making a whole lot of money. If you're in the game, you have a higher rate of getting more money, and the more uploads you do for that month, you will be getting paid. So, hot tip from Freestyle Sunday. Let's get it. So, like I said, what I think is dope, your overall idea for it was the fact that, you know, you wanted to do something that's concise, very small, and you want to narrow down your focus on it, which is really dope. But for me, looking at, because I have a design background, marketing background, I look at it as an amazing opportunity to do product placement while you're still doing content. And I let it play the pledge and the WD-40 specifically just because it wasn't intentional. And that's how great marketing is done by a lot of big, major key players, where you don't see it. It's subtle and tasteful. So you got a double whammy on that, dude.
Hey, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. So now I have to ask you, I know you used to rock the Ducati, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I have Ducati love, man. So, and you're a certified mechanic, right? On Japanese bike. What's your take on working on a Duck, man?
I actually was shocked at how easy it was. I did not, just, you know, growing up, you know, going through the motorcycle community, just motorcycles, you just like Italian bike. You know, anything overseas, it's just like, it's not going to be the Italian and the German bike. It's just like, yo, stay away, stay away. BMW, they're just so daggone advanced. You got to really know what you're doing. And then Ducati, I was like, bro, there's no way you can work on the Ducati. And then dig into it, it was actually one of the easier bikes I've ever worked on. It wasn't bad at all. Stupid easy.
Okay. I was completely expecting something different from that.
Yeah, nothing that I did on the bike. Let me just say, I did, minus doing the fork seals and doing the valve check. Everything else I did on the bike, and it wasn't like strenuous or took me days. That was just a really easy bike to work on. And now that's specifically the 1199 Panigale. Now there might be another Ducati model that might be a little difficult to work on, but that particular one was easy. It was really easy to work on.
I think in most of these motorcycles, whether you're using a Japanese bike or a European bike, or whichever brand you're working on, I think where Ducati situation kind of changed things a little bit. I think getting parts from across the pond, sometimes you have to wait for them if they don't have them. The other key thing for me is specialty tools.
Yeah.
That's where Ducati gets a little bit tougher to deal with. A lot of T-Torques, a lot of not your normal hex and stuff like that. So I think that's where, but if you've owned one of their bikes, you understand to have certain tools, and that's part of the brand you're part of. Your garage will be full of that stuff. You wouldn't have too much difficulty with doing that stuff.
Agreed. And I probably, working on Ducati, I probably stacked myself up with maybe 3 or 4 tools that I didn't normally have, within the garage. But for the most part, it was pretty simple stuff.
And to be honest, I don't think they get enough credit. So for example, having a single-sided string arm, it's the easiest way to undo a rear wheel and then put it back on.
Did you see the shoulder drop? Oh, it's so easy. I love the single-sided swing arm. It's a thing of beauty, man. Thing of beauty.
Yeah, I agree. Again, they all have little pros and cons. For example, it's the easiest one to take on and off, yes.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to torque that down. You need the specialty, tool to actually torque it down. We're talking about what, 150 Newton meters? Pretty.
Dude, it's insane. Like that torque on that, I was like, there's no way this torque is really that high. And I was like, yo, it's insane.
Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt, guys. Don't be like, oh yeah, it's 150. I'm just saying, I always check before doing anything, but it's high, and you need like a specific torque wrench to actually torque that down.
Yeah, it's high.
But really, really dope, man. I want to run this other clip here. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Guys, as you know, not only he does the Mungus tip, of course, he also do a lot of other things that are really dope. There's some meetups he does. I'm not going to roll any meetup clips yet because I want to... he's part of the roll racing scene, but I don't think that's his main focus, but it's something that is definite. You said nah? Nah, your bike is set up for it, bro. Don't mess.
We'll dive into it, but it's actually not.
It's
a
not
roll race bike. It's not, yeah.
So I'm playing this clip for a specific reason.
Okay.
Let me see here. I'm not gonna play the full thing, but let's get it here.
Heck yeah, bro. This is so dope having everyone with me. This is so dope. This is so dope, bro. Like, I think I'm slick emotional, bro. Like, I don't even know what to say. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready? Oh, that's crazy.
So I had to kind of throw this on really, really quickly, just to kind of just kind of give people a little bit idea of what you do. But we're gonna go back to the whole roll racing thing. I know you got a little bit of flack. There was one video that you uploaded. It might have been a year and a half ago, about dropping your bike low. It was on the Ducati you did it. That's when you got a little bit of pushback because you know us Ducati people.
Oh, yeah.
We're like superior to everything. And you lowered the bike, right? You had to get a different kickstand for it, and also the forks brought down a little bit. And I think that's like something that's synonymous to the roll racing scene.
Yeah.
And let's just talk about a little bit of that pushback you got regarding that, and also your take of the roll racing scene.
Okay, yeah, I got a lot of pushback from that. It seemed like, and this is not everyone, but it just seemed like there's a few people, especially on like the Ducati forums, that if the bike isn't red and with black wheels, you just ruined the whole brand. So what led me to that? So I was like a lot of people in the community. By the way, I just believe what I heard.
Eli, hold on one second. You can keep talking.
Okay.
You can keep talking. I just want to show them what you're referring to. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so just going through the community, I believe like a lot of people, and what literally opened my eyes is we were in Miami, and what I'm referring to is I thought if you lowered a bike, you completely ruined it. It wouldn't handle, it wouldn't do anything but literally go in a straight line. So we're in Miami, we're having fun, we're at a meet, we're doing bike swaps, and I end up jumping on Jack P.
Hey,
bike.
dude, didn't do that. Say what up, it's your boy, Dude Mungus.
And I jump on this bike, and I'm riding it like normal. I'm riding it like it's a stock height bike. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Hey, you can't do that. This is a lower bike. You can't do that. I was like, wait a minute. I was just going through a corner on the lower bike and completely forgot I was on the lower bike. Didn't feel any hang up. Didn't feel any, hindrance. The bike didn't not want to turn. It dove in just as easy as a stock height bike. And at the time, my Ducati was stock height. And I was like, yo, this felt great. So I was like, okay. So I was like, let me lower my bike a little bit and just see, what happens. And for me and my riding style on the street, absolutely nothing changed other than I can now touch the ground flat-footed when I stop at the stoplight. But I was still able to go through my favorite mountain roads, my favorite back roads, and everything was perfectly fine. And like the reason I call myself, I say I'm not a road racer is because there's a certain point that I'm going to stop. The second I can't go through my favorite mountain roads or my favorite back roads, I'm done. That's as far as I'm going to go, So I'm learning as I go that these bikes are highly capable, So I call myself, I think I'm a little dibble-dabble. I dibble-dabble in the road race community, but I'm not sure if I'll ever be like a top guy in the road race community, but, I dibble-dabble. I do all right.
So I spoke to my boy 5-Up. He told me you were extremely fast with that with your 1199, not a regular fast. And and I spoke with him, and I was like, I'm surprised that you were extremely fast with that bike, only because it is a great bike. It is a fast bike, also runs pretty hot. But I have to say that because people are like, oh, you're biased, you won't say some of the bad things and stuff. So I have to even mention some of those things. But he was saying you were incredibly fast with that bike. You had carbon wheels on it, a very specific paint. I was one of those people that was like, oh my God, he made it look like a cow. I'm not even going to front.
I used to get Ronald McDonald a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I rolled that clip while you were talking, by the way, when you mentioned that people want it to be either red, or if it's not red, it's not that. But, it's, how do you call it? Evan from EJR Performance said something really striking to me, talking to him while I was in Detroit. He was like, damn, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to phrase this exactly how he said it. It's very interesting how people could put their, not their belief, but basically like, you can't do what you want with your motorcycle. You know what I mean?
Right.
As if, you know what I mean? So when he said it to me while I was over there, I had an enlightened moment. Like, oh shit, you know what? He's 100% right. Like, who am I to kind of say anything? Or it's your bike. You paid for it. You can do whatever that makes you happy with. I think that was a really cool thing. I walk away learning a lot, just really chopping it up with a lot of people. And especially, I'm pretty much open-minded when we talk about stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Got to be open-minded because, everyone has their own interpretation of what they think a motorcycle is and what it should do. And just like you said, I get comments. I just kind of let them go. But it's not like I don't see them. But, I get comments all the time. It's like, how did you do that? You ruined your bike. You shouldn't do this. You should put this on your bike. I'm like, bro, you're not paying not one of these bills. And second of all, I am a whole grown man. You're not about to tell me what to do. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep, enjoying what I do. And the thing I loved about that shot, whether you liked it or not, you could not see that bike anywhere and be like, hey, that's not Duke Mungus. Like I've been so many times I've been rolling down the highway and people just point. That's Duke Mungus. It's because that bike. ugly, you think it's a cow, you think I'm Ronald McDonald or not. I branded myself enough to know that you can look at that bike and be like, that's dude money. Like, that's what I wanted, and I accomplished that. And I was just like, yeah, it is what it is.
Again, I don't disagree, man. Like I said, by the way, guys, this is my pup, man. She won't go away now that I'm in the house. What's up, man?
Hey,
So say what's good. Say what's good, everybody. Okay, get down. She won't go away now that I'm inside. But yeah, I think what you did was very interesting, also, man. Like you mentioned, you know, it is your bike. You could style it the way you want. And also, it really struck a conversation, whether it's people do not like it, or they do like it, or they find it interesting. One part they did not see, though, that was really dope. Again, it was a partnership with, what's that company name out in Atlanta? They do a lot of wraps. That was pretty cool. That was a nice highlight.
Atlanta Custom Wrap.
Atlanta Customs.
Yes.
So it was a nice little highlight, which kind of led me to me seeing his McLaren and all the other stuff. He's done some work with Do It With Dan. Again, you know, some of these things strikes up conversation and all types of opportunity, and which I thought those aspects was really dope. Also, really understanding that it's okay that other people do different things that you might not like. It's not traditional and stuff like that. So in the end, you know, I warmed up to it. You know what I mean? Seeing the bike like that, it was just, I guess, more striking to me. Because here's the thing. I think to myself, I'm thinking, oh man, I would have done like gray and green camel. You know, It's one of those things. You know what I mean? But then again, this is another gym, guys. Really dope. I'm interpreting it one way. Other people saying, oh, it's more like Ronald McDonald's or whatever. I'm thinking more like a colorful cow. But what we all didn't catch on, we're talking about it.
Yep. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Really dope stuff.
I'm going back to see Justin with this bike. We don't know what we're gonna do yet, but I'm going back to see him again with this bike. When you see me, I just want you to see the bike and be like, yeah, that's dude money. That's money.
That gray's nasty though, man.
Yeah, man.
That gray's nasty.
You know what? And I'm torn because I'm like, I didn't realize I was gonna love this color so much. I was like, I am absolutely in love with this color. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do just like I did last time. I'm gonna turn Justin loose and let him create something unique, and you know.
I think it's a good look, man. I think it's a really a good look. Let me see here. A lot of people are mentioning here in the comment section. I'm trying to be at least active on this while we're going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good little chatter amongst everybody. Guys, if you're tuned in, definitely smash that thumbs up. If you're watching this a little bit later on the day, or later, or you're just listening to it on your drive to work, because I get a lot of people saying, oh, listen to it while I'm at work or something. Definitely smash that thumbs up. If you want to comment down below, we are going to reply to them. Also, definitely, you're going to see Dude Mungus channel link in the description. You're definitely going to hit that and show him some love, help him grow. That's the whole point of this community here, at least the small little platform that we have. We're sharing. The overall idea is to give you a general idea who you're seeing, the behind the scene, behind the helmet, get to know who the person really is. And you want to show love and support, you're going to hit that subscribe button. That's the only way we kind of make things flow through YouTube, at least here on the channel as well. And also it makes it worth it. If I keep doing this, nobody really gets anything out of it. It's kind of like dirty. So definitely show him some love, man. After watching this, you want to subscribe to his channel for sure, 100%.
Appreciate it.
I have to ask, man, I know right before you did the wrap on the Ducati, you had a down with that bike. Was that your first time you ever went down on it?
Yeah, that was my first time going down on the Ducati. And I actually had just put the carbon wheels on there, so I was getting used to the bike just got stupid light with the carbon wheels. I had no idea it would enhance every part of the riding experience. So I'm getting used to the bike, going through a road that I commonly go through. And this dog ends up crossing the road in my path. And, you know, there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I just, personally, for me, I just had no idea what the dog was going to do. I had no idea. So I chose the path of going down in the grass versus landing on the concrete, because concrete hurts. Man, I don't think I want to do that. You know what? If I got a choice between concrete or going down in grass, I'm going to pick the grass. You know, so end up going off in the grass. That's actually how I ended up getting the bike wrap. End up talking to Justin. He was like, yo, I'll take care of you. And came up with this idea. But yeah, so I ended up laying the bike down in some grass. It was just got like a low side, wasn't too bad. Ended up dislocating my thumb. And then funny story, I ended up resetting my thumb right there on the scene.
Yeah.
which was interesting. But yeah, so I went down. And, you know, here's what it is.
I
You
saw
live and
that
you learn.
video. I saw that video. To be honest,
Yeah,
I
for
would have
sure.
I would have went down as well because I'm a dog person. So if a dog ran across the road, I most likely would have dumped the bike, or at least
Yeah.
well, dump it or not, I'd most likely crash because I would have freaked out. It just would have been a reactionary thing.
Right.
What was crazy, you actually rode. I think it was watching your video was more just adrenaline, riding back home with your thumb like that because that you can't really hold. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you actually rode home like that, and that, like I said, you know, I saw the whole thing. I'm like, holy shit! And it happens so fast. Unless you slow down the video, you don't see the dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was pretty wild, man. I'm glad
I
you weren't hurt,
hesitated
man.
in the middle of the street. I'm like, I don't know what the dog is doing. So, like you said, when I rode home, I just kind of kept pressure on the palm. I really wasn't squeezing. And then, you know, I knew I was okay. And then I was like, if I call my wife, she worries. And I was like, if I call my wife, she is going to freak, and she's going to think my head got chopped off. So I'm just like, let me just calm down, get to the house, you know, and then let wifey know that I'm okay. So yeah, I just kept pressure on this part of the hand, and I'm actually surprised I was able to tame that rowdy Ducati all the way home.
You know, it's so funny you mentioned that, man. I had a crash as well. I was all the way up in the mountains, but it wasn't like anything bad. My bike was perfectly fine. I didn't tell my wife neither, man, because when you explain it to them over the phone, it's like, are you calling me from heaven or hell? One of those places, because you're probably dead, right? So I ended up riding all the way back to Manhattan, and I was like, oh man, I had a bad day, and it was like my frame size was jacked up, and she was like, my God, why didn't tell me? I'm like, well, your reaction would have been exactly that. If it weren't you finding out exactly that time, that means it's no good. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, same thing, man. Same exact thing. But I'm happy to see you on the Jigsaw, man. You seem like you really like that bike and really doing a lot of projects with it and doing something different. And how do you like that comparison to your Ducati? Because I know they're completely different lifestyles, completely different riding feel and sensation. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum, so I could speak to that also.
Okay.
Right before we answer that, I don't want this to kind of go above. I'm going to give you the full screen so you can talk, and then I'll do full screen talk. Saison Moto mention here. Saison? Sazon. Damn, I'm keep messing up. Sazon.
I think it's Saison.
Saison. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the cost of valve adjustment on a Ducati? Cost ballpark figure, and how often? Okay. I know it varies from state to state. Just curious. I'll let Eli go first.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You all good?
All right. So I got that question a lot, honestly, and I can tell you for the 1199, the valve check was every 15,000 miles. But at the time when I had my Ducati, I had a sponsorship through a shop down here called the Duck Shop, and we worked out, you know, some pricing. So I never really paid full price for the job. I don't know how many hours are involved, but from what I hear, it's a pretty intense job on the 1199 because you have to almost disassemble the bike to get the valves done. But I really can't tell you 100% for sure how much it costs because I never paid full price on it. But I know it's an intense job. It's probably I guess that's on every bike, but it's probably the most expensive job that you get done on the bike is getting the valve service.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally agree. In New York, it's gonna be expensive because New York tax, of course, and then you have the Ducati tax, of course, and then depending what shop you go to. So, for example, if you were to go to a shop that's in the tri-state, right? You know, outside of the 5 boroughs, it's gonna be a little bit cheaper. But you want to go to the place where they're known. So, for example, Ducati New York is probably the most well-known and the dealership that's been here the longest, really. And that's where you're going to want to go. And that's in the middle of Soho. That's like, you know, fashion area, like the high end, the people that's big ballers are out there. So your bike is it's going to cost you a lot. But what I'm finding out with my own personal experience, so you often go to a Ducati dealership, you see like Monsters for sale or Hypers for sale or 899, 959 for sale. Once people are approaching those 15,000 miles, they swap the bikes in, instead of spending $2,000 or $2,500, depending if they are out of specs, depending how much work that needs to get done. It all varies, but you're gonna be, for New York City, you're gonna be $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah,
I'd say. So most cases, people just swap the bikes in, and then the dealer end up doing the service anyway, and then put it back on the market where somebody else purchases it. My tip for people, another hot tip, if you plan to get a Ducati, don't buy a cheap one, or don't buy a small one, because either way, let's say if you show up with a Ducati Scrambler, you're still going to be out of pocket when you're doing the valves. It's going to be less valves, yes, but you might be paying $1,200. So you might as well get the bike you kind of really want. You might be spending maybe $500 more if you really want to keep it, and then just do that. But I don't know if it's something that's really a thing that's an issue anymore for Ducati, because I feel like there was a point in time where actually this was the dark ages, I would call it that. 8,500 you have to do valves. 8,500 miles. You're talking about 8,500, you could ride it till 10,000, you know, probably. So we're talking about, for me, that was like just like one season. So if you weren't prepared to actually own this bike, or at least be in the right space to own it, it'd be tough. But now we're talking about most Ducatis are 15 to 20,000. I mean, 15 to 18. Like, for example, my Hyper is 18,000. Like that. We're talking about 3 seasons maybe before I even get to that. So, and then plus, if you have multiple bikes you rotate around, it might vary. It might be years before you hit any of those. And by that point, you might either sell your bike or something like that. But it varies. Either way, you're gonna be like, if I'm just gonna ballpark, I would tell anyone have $2,000.
Yeah, and Mike, I'll make another point. So my Ducati, before I sold it, it had 34,000 miles on it, and when I got my valve check done at 30,000 miles, I think one of my exhaust valves was barely out of spec. Everything else was in spec. So I guess once you got out of the dark ages, Ducati made a solid motor as long as you took care of it. It really was a solid motor.
I agree. As long as you're maintaining the bike, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to. Even when I do my valve checks on any of my bikes, I did 2 of them. They weren't bad, like where the bike was like nearly gonna blow up or something like that. It was, I guess it's just like the sentiment. I think Ducati make race bikes. They're to the Italian, they think you're racing this bike. So if you're racing it, yes, the valves are really gonna get jacked up. We were talking about keeping it up the RPMs all the time and just doing it. But if you're using the bike as a daily, like a regular ride, it wasn't so bad. When I did both my bikes, it wasn't too bad. I had to do it either.
Gotcha.
What about for yourself? Between you and your Japanese bike and your Ducati experience, what's your take on that? Pros and cons to both.
I was actually jumping over to the Suzuki. I was actually surprised because one thing that I fell in love with the Ducati was just the muscle. And what I mean by muscle is just, you start the bike, you let the clutch out, and you can just feel that, there's just some rock. It's just some rock down there. So one thing I was shocked and surprised with is the Gixxer. I had no idea it was going to give me that raw feeling, because I'm like, there's no inline 4 that I've been on that's giving me that feeling. Like, the inline 4s for me, like, they got the top end all day. They're just stupid strong up top. But I've never felt one that had that raw down low. And this was the first Gixxer that I've ever been on. And I was like, holy moly, I had no idea it was going to be this good. So I was like, for me, I'm actually happy that I ended up with the Gixxer, because it's so good down low. And, my Ducati was a 2012, and I loved it. I mean, even though the technology was a little bit older, it was just a good, raw-feeling bike that did everything that I wanted it to do. Not many electronics on the bike. It just, it kind of gave you that motorcycle experience without being neutered by electronics. So jumping over to the Gixxer, I find that at least it feels very similar. There's not, maybe it doesn't have the top electronic specs on the bike, but what it does have allows you to enjoy and ride the bike like you feel like you're riding the bike, not like the bike is like, hey, I'm just letting you on top of me, but I'm really doing everything. You just gotta sit here. Like, I actually feel like I'm riding this bike. So I like it. Out of all the bikes I've been on, you know, and rode over the years, this is honestly one of the best bikes I've been on. It's nothing about the Gixxer that will literally blow your mind like, this is the best I've ever felt in the world, but everything works on this bike. Everything works well together on this bike. So I turned traction control off, and the bike is just a dream. It's just the absolute dream. Handles amazing. Good power, good for, you know, like I commute a lot, it's good for commuting. Like I'll ride to the grocery store, grab something, my book bag, and then come on back to the house. Like it's great. It does what it needs to do, and then you need a little speed, and it got that too. It's a good bike. And out of the leader bikes I've been on, this seems to be the most comfortable, you know, that I've been on. I sound a little biased, but I'm just shocked at how good the Suzuki actually is. And then I'm shocked that it took me this long to actually get on the Suzuki.
I don't think you're the only person that's shared the sentiment, by the way. A lot of people that's ridden the Gixxers, they all, I mean, hence why you have like that whole meme or people talk Gixxer boy and stuff like that. To be honest, those bikes, they run forever. They run great. Again, to me, I mean, not to downplay anything, but I'm just saying, you know, if you know how it is. If you have a Ducati, you pull up somewhere, it's like, oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna get that.
The prestige.
Yeah, you're not gonna you're not gonna get that. But the bike runs amazing. It runs well.
Right.
And yeah, I've seen really old Gixxers on the road and just like keeping up with some of the latest stuff easy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They run strong, and that's one thing. Like you mentioned, something I do miss that Ducati prestige, because I mean anywhere you go, you know, it's almost like you get a little bit of special privilege. It's like, yo, I'm on a Ducati, bro. Like,
you do get that.
You cover.
You do get like I don't know. It's kind of weird to explain. I think.
Yeah.
You might, anybody that try to explain this is gonna come off like a douche or something like that. If you pull
it really does sound like
right,
that.
right. But when you do pull in somewhere, immediately like everything stops. It's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, he has carbon wheels on there. There's a clear clutch.
Yeah.
Okay, you know.
Yeah.
So you do get that. By the way, any reason why you didn't get an R1, or what else were you looking at when you were? Because when you were in the market for a little bit.
Yeah, I was in the market for a little bit, and I literally was. Man, I'll go and tell you because I'm supposed to be making a video about this, but I was literally bouncing on everything. But when it came down to it, I was actually looking at that new R1 they just came in. I forget what anniversary. I want to say 60th, but I could be totally wrong. Whichever one they just came out with, that anniversary, I was like this close to being sold on that.
Is it white, red, and yellow or something like that, I think?
Yes, I do. I love that. Absolutely.
That's cool.
The white, red, and yellow. Yeah, I love that. And then I switched from that, and then I was sold on the ZX10. I looked it up. I expected out, and I was just waiting on the new 22 color to come out. Actually, the same model that Trill in the chat, the same model he has. I was just waiting on that one to come out, and I was going to pick it up. And I was talking with my cousin Hitman, who's also in the chat, and he had a ZX10, and he was like, "Yo, Mungus," he's like, "Man, you kind of got all the ZX10 content you have," and he's like, "If you build the ZX10, it's literally going to be a carbon copy of this one, just in a new form." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. You're right." So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do something different. So in the niche that I'm in, there's a ton of Gixxers out there, but there's not that many Gixxers vlogging as I do in my style and what I like to do. So I was like, you know what? Let's give this Gixxer a shot. And I went and purchased one without even throwing a leg over it.
Oh wow!
And, turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made. Yeah. When I did my first ride video, that was literally my first ride experiencing a Gixxer 1000. Like period.
You know what? You know what's funny, man? I always bring this conversation up every time I have somebody that's on the stream, or at least that does video. At least if they do videos on YouTube, I always bring this up. Do you find yourself, like you said, there are some Gixxer content creators out there, and then you could have done other things. Do you find yourself picking up a bike because of the opportunities that's there, or do you just really buy a bike because you like? Because I have this major issue of doing things because it would get clicks, or it would get likes, or it will blow up. It's like I'm always fighting against the machine. I don't like to follow the waves, which is bad for me, which is bad for YouTube overall. I don't like to go out to I remember like another big YouTuber that hit me up. He was like, "Oh, I know you could get this bike. It's not a problem. You should get the Aprilia. Just, you know, it's the hottest thing." It's like, not that I don't like the bike. It's fine, but I don't really have a real interest. I'm not passionate about it. It's just like,
Right.
it'd be a great bike for YouTube. And I can't, for some reason, I just can't get to the space to actually do that.
Yeah, that was a this one. This purchase was definitely I wouldn't say it was for clicks, but it was definitely to do something, just something different. Really is kind of what I was looking for. And it was suggested to me to look at the Aprilia, and the new Aprilia. I love everything about the Aprilia. I just could not get down with the winglets they put on there. For some reason, they just don't flow. Like from the side, beautiful. You get to the front and that angle, I'm like, I can't really, get with this. But
Which
I
one?
knew I wanted to get something, a 22 model, something brand new. So then I was looking at the older Aprilias, because I personally think the 19 and 20 model, or 21, whatever that range is, I think that model personally looks better. But I was like, I kind of want to get, want to get something new. So part of me was like, all right, I need to do something different, and maybe I'll get some clicks. And then there's still a part of me that's like, nah, bro, you got to do what you want to do so you can be happy. So, like, with my channel, the laughing and the enthusiasm you see, the energy you see, like, that's legit because I'm just happy about what I want to do. Now, I could have got the Aprilia, and I probably would have been like, yo, this is a dope bike, but I couldn't have got down with the Scrum Diddly. Like, for me, Scrum Diddly is number one. Scrum Diddly is your bike just looking like it's dripping wet. It's just the most beautiful thing you ever seen in the world. And if I can't say, hey, Scrum Diddly to my own bike, then that's a problem. Then it ain't gonna be there. It might be fast. It might do everything I need to do. But if it don't do Scrum Diddly, then we can't do it.
Were you looking at the 1100 factory? Is that the one you're looking at?
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. I first looked at the base model, and I was like, I might can make this work. And I was, trying to be, cost, conscious, because at the time my wife wanted a car too. So I was like, all right, let's try to figure out how we can do both of these. And she was like, nah, I don't like the base one. You need to get the 1100 factory. And I was like, okay, babe, this is a few thousand more than the other one. She was like, this is the one you should get. And I was like, okay. So I looked at it, and I was just like, I couldn't pull the trigger on it. It's not that I couldn't get it. It's just mentally I couldn't do it. So I was like, nah, we got to go another direction.
I'm gonna have to agree with her, man. I've done this before, where I bought a bike and I didn't get like the top spec. Man, I regretted the entire time. It wasn't a bother or anything like that. It wasn't like, I can't enjoy it. I was enjoying it, but it's just, every time I would pull up somewhere, it's like, fuck, why did I do that? You know what I mean? So, till this day, anything that I were to buy, if I'm not buying the top spec, if I can't get that, I'm good. Because I know it's one of those things like, man, you know what? Those forks are nice, but the old ones should have been there.
They should have been there.
They should have been there. It's like that's what they made, and the other version you got is just, they just want you to be in the pool. You're not really in the pool, but you're somewhere around the edge of the pool. You know what I mean? So,
man, look, let me tell you how I ended up with the Gixxer R. I didn't even know that there were two different types of models. I didn't know there was a Gixxer 1000, and then I didn't know there was a Gixxer 1000R. The reason I ended up with the R, not because it's the top spec, I had no idea. It just has the little LED lights in the front, and I was like, whatever I get has to have them daytime running lights. And I was like, yo, I have to have them, because I loved when Ducati came out with them. I'm like, yo, these things are great. Then Aprilia with the new bike, I was like, yo, these things are great. Then I was like, I'm getting the bike. If it ain't got them daytime running lights, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up with the R model.
So, walk us through YouTube, man. How are you enjoying doing that, and where do you see your channel going?
Man, I enjoy YouTube, and I enjoy producing these videos. I enjoy just connecting with people, just across the globe, man. It's exciting to see the love and support that I get. And then how I knew that I loved it so much, I had an issue with my computer one time, and I couldn't upload for like 3 or 4 days. And I'm just like racking my brain, and it wasn't because, oh, I'm trying to get views and all this stuff. It was like I really felt like dang, I'm like, I actually like this. I actually enjoy doing this. So for me, I'm just, I'm gonna just keep doing me, just keep pushing the channel. I hope it grows to something huge, something that, could possibly turn into something full-time I can do, because motorcycles is something I have a passion about. And I just want to show, just a different side of the community. Like, a lot of times there's some bickering that goes on, or there's some just not so positive stuff that goes on. But I'm just like, hey, you know what? All bikers aren't that way. We just like to get on the bike and daggum ride. Whenever I bring out the daggum, it just got serious. So I was like, we just want to daggum get on the bike and ride. So I just want to bring a different positive light to the motorcycle community and just kind of share my passion and love, just around the world, really. I think that'd be dope.
Just like any industry, though, you always have like bickering or small stuff like that. It's just, I think it's just the nature of the game, so it's not something that you can change. Do you see, by the way, you guys might not know this, but this dude is a badass drummer, right? Small little tip. People, you didn't know that. I knew that, didn't you? He's really dope at drumming.
Yeah.
So
that's my second passion right there.
Would you want to do this just like full time, just completely? Because I feel like sometime because let me just kind of rephrase this. I feel like doing this, producing full time for me would be really cool because I like just working on projects.
Yeah,
but
I could see myself doing this full time for
sure.
I literally just enjoy it. It is work. It does take time. It does take effort. But I enjoy it. I really have a good time producing content, and then you put out something, and you get feedback, and you start to get just your subscribers that just normally comment back and forth, and life gets busy, so maybe you can't see every video, but you'll pop in, Mungus, ain't been here in a while, whatever's been going on with the fam, how you doing? It's like, it's good to have that. I think it's personally good to have that interaction, and I love having good conversations with people, and just like I said, just sharing the positivity. So I could definitely see myself doing this full time for sure.
Who do you see that's out, that's vlogging, that you can, I would say endorse, but who you think that's dope, that you think that's, these are some of the new, you're actually one of the first people that I'm actually dropping some of these thoughts on. So be ready. I want to know what your thought on is. Who would you say that's really dope out there? That's, you can't, first off, let me just remove this off the slate. You can't put Eben there. You can't put Dylan in there.
I can't put Fastlane in.
Nah, you can't.
Okay.
Because he's got the juice right now.
Yeah, man, it's popping right now. Congrats to my boy.
He's a good dude, man. I like Fastlane. Dylan's dope. Sure. And he's been putting in work for years. I know a lot of people are looking at it like, oh man, he won the lottery, he's doing well. Nah, he's been working for a long time. If you look at one of Chase's videos, one of Chase's meetup, he was there. I think I was like before college or something like that. So he's been in and out and trying. So that's really dope seeing that he finally kind of broke through and he's making things happen. So that's really dope. Right. Yeah. So who do you like? Who would you like endorse and be like, yeah, this person's kind of cool. I like what they're doing. And don't be picking your friends neither.
Yeah, it's really tough, man, because I'm growing such a brotherhood, with a lot of people, and it is. I mean, I'm not for sure if you're asking me for one person, but I just got to name off a few because there's some people out there, that's doing dope stuff. Like just a few of your past guests, like Jack Be Quick was just on here. Quick, first of all, that's my guy. But like you guys talked about, he's doing something, different with the lineup of like top tier bikes that he has. Like, all right, and I'm just gonna talk some smack for him. So his 2020 BMW Zocalo, when he brought that out and the things he was doing with Zocalo, at the time, no one was really doing that with the brand new 2020 bike. And he put that bike at a tier or a status that people literally was like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of model my build off of some of the stuff I think he did, which I thought was pretty dope because that bike put in some serious work, man. Some serious work. You got new people coming out, Jack in the Box, like people. He came down for my meet, had some unfortunate incident while he was down here. I'm glad he's okay. But Jack in the Box, is up and coming. You got I'm really trying not to name all my friends, but like I said, you just build this brotherhood, with people. But Moto Mac, with the ZX10 content, the Gen 6, he's kind of pushing, the Gen 6 platform, which I think is just, just a really cool idea. So I'm gonna just stop right there so I don't end up naming all of my friends. No, but you just build a brotherhood with people, man. I mean, even you like in New York, it's like I remember when I first came across your channel, man, it was just And I really don't want to be rude, but it was just good to see you, doing vlogs. If that makes sense. It was just good to see you doing vlogs, bro. And I was excited. Just like you said, you had the Ducati, I had the Ducati. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, let's rock it out.
Yeah, the reason why I'm doing a little segment like that where I ask people who are they, because even though we have a guest on, we have a conversation, just being able to spread people out more. I think that's one thing that we don't do as often where, I've mentioned this before, there was a point in time where motovlogging was very to, the individual, just one person, they're just doing well and that was it. So I think it's a good spot to kind of highlight others that's either on the come up or somebody that we might have bumped into, like, that has really nice potential, that's producing stuff that I think that's creative. So that's why I kind of brought that in. Now, I have to ask this question. Anybody you do not like, this is, because you know what, some people are like, yo, when you do your interviews, they're dope, I like them, but we want to hear some of the raw and getting some of the general idea what's going on behind the scene, because there are some beefs on the back end that people never get to hear about, and we're trying to glaze over them. But we can do things classy here and just hear shit out. Anybody that you don't mess with, or it's like, nah, we're not rocking with this person no more after it does happen. I have to ask this stuff. Those are some of the feedbacks I get after each stream. People are just like, yo, let's know what's going on.
There's not anyone in particular, that I can think of, and that mainly comes from the way that I carry myself. So I believe that I just attract, positive, good-hearted people. That doesn't mean everyone I come across is going to be that way. But I really, like, if I get a vibe that, we're probably not going to work or whatever, I just don't, I know how far I can go, and I'm just like, that's as far as I can go, and that's probably it. But I will have to say, in my YouTube career, I've only came across maybe one person, like, that I actually had to, like, block from my YouTube channel because they were just the utmost disrespect or whatever. Anyone else, I've been able to, because I'm an adult, I'm a whole grown man, we've been able to have a conversation and come to an understanding, and everything's been good. But I literally, thank God, I just haven't had beef with really anybody, really, in the industry. And I'm not the guy, I'm not going to talk smack about your bike because it's not a certain brand or whatever. I appreciate everything that everyone does. And like you said earlier, I'm open-minded, so your interpretation of what a Ducati should look like, I understand. Bro, that's your interpretation. And whether I like it or not, that's what you did, and you put in work for it. So you know what? I'm going to appreciate the work that you put in for it. You know what I mean? So, and it's not for me because I didn't buy your Ducati. I didn't buy none of your parts. So what if you got SC Project on there? Plug for the SC Project, because I got that on the back too. So what if you got SC Project on there and I like Yoast or something? No, that's not the case, bro. The SC Project looks great. It's great. So I don't hate, you know what I'm saying? It's going to sound real cheesy, but I just congratulate, bro.
So I'm gonna ask this. You don't have to say the person's name.
Yeah.
What happened?
So what happened was it was a complete misunderstanding of what was going on. So this person, my channel was, I don't even know if I was at 1,000 subscribers and monetized yet. So my channel was really getting started, because now it's actually just getting started. But it was super early on, and we had a conversation, and through some misunderstanding, they asked me to come to an event, and for some reason they thought I had committed to coming to this event, and I absolutely didn't commit to coming to this event. So after I didn't show for the event, they just started dragging my name, and even to the point where they went on some other YouTubers' videos that I was in, and it was like, yo, this is a great video, except for Dude Mungus and him and this and this and this and this and that. And then I had my cousin, Hitman. He went on there, he tried to defend me a little bit, and dude just totally went in on him. My wife went on, was like, yo, just kind of chill out. And then he went in, and I was like, yo, we're not doing this total disrespect. If there's a misunderstanding, again, I am a whole grown man. If I do something wrong, dude, just talk to me. You don't have to go rah and yelling and getting all outside of character. There's no reason as adults we can't have a conversation. Hey, Mungus, you did X, Y, Z, and I thought we should have done A, B, C. There's no problem. There's no reason we can't come together and at least have a conversation or whatever. So he took it left without even stepping to me like a man. And I even went back through the messages and everything to make sure. I was like, well, maybe I did commit, and I just forgot I did. Didn't commit to nothing. So it was just a misunderstanding that could have been handled like adults, but instead the gentleman chose to go high school, and that's where we ended up at. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, like
Is he a creator too?
Even to this day, I'm willing to give the gentleman, you know, a second chance. Like, if we could just talk about this, we can come to an understanding. But you know, the person doesn't want to have anything to do with it, so it's out of my hands at this point.
Wait, is the person a motorcycle content creator too?
They have some stuff, but it's not like on the scale of considering themselves like a vlogger or a content creator. And you know, like it might just be some stuff posted on the page or whatever. But this has been maybe a year and a half ago, so I haven't seen anything. Because I mean, I don't go like lurking or searching or whatever. So since that point where we had the disagreement, I haven't seen anything else from this person.
Okay. I'm just gonna quickly mention this real quick here. I'm just gonna give me a second. Let me put this up real quick.
Yeah.
Just take a quick look through the comment section, only because I saw somebody from Australia showed up here.
Oh, let's go.
I thought that was really cool. So I'm like, let me quickly pop him up on the screen here and say what's up.
One place I want to visit.
Guys, if you do have any questions, any comments right now, you could definitely throw them up while I'm pulling up a couple of comments and stuff. And we can kind of highlight that stuff real quick. Let me see here. Where's that?
The reason I want to go to Australia is because they don't have like as many restrictions as we do with the EPA. So all their vehicles are like super strong and fast. And ours is kind of neutered and lame over here. But the other thing is like Australia, I was watching like on National Geographic. Australia has the most deadliest everything you can think of. If it's like the most dangerous plant in the world, Australia has it. The most dangerous ant, Australia has it. I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, calm down.
Yeah, it's from C. Marsupial. Hi from Brisbane, Australia. Great riding weather here today. What's up, sir? Thank you for tuning in, man. If you're new here, I think I might have seen your icon before. I'm not sure. Your emoji, man. Definitely sub. And then go and sub Dude Bungus, too, of course.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Solo Rider 82 mentioned here, question to both of you. Are you finding GoPros more useful or the Insta360? Can't help feeling technology came a long way. That's a great question for the both of us. Just gonna run that real quick. I'm gonna let Eli go first.
Okay.
But that is really a great question. And I'll just give you the floor here.
I think this is how I think, right? So I think GoPro is like the iPhone of the action camera world, because there's literally every accessory you can think of, and every third, second, fourth, fifth, sixth party makes something for the GoPro. So it's very easy to get something you need, or something, if you have this crazy idea, hey, I want to mount the camera upside down, sideways at a 45-degree angle, but tilted 234 degrees up, you can find it for a GoPro. They literally have everything you need for a GoPro. And I feel like the Insta360 is kind of like the Android of the world. It does probably most of stuff of things better than the GoPro. It just doesn't have the popularity, and there's a few little knickknacks. Like, so what I mean by knickknacks, if you send a video or picture Android to Android, the quality always distorts by like what seems like half. But you send a video, 4K, 60 frames a second, to iPhone to iPhone, it turns out just like you took the daggum video. You heard the daggum again, that means it got real. So it turns out just like you took the video personally yourself. So GoPro also, like it's I would say GoPro works perfectly 92.5% of the time. But that other percent is like, oh man, it can let you down sometimes. And it just, maybe no fault of GoPros, but it just, something just goes on with GoPros, and it'll just randomly not give you sound, or it'll randomly freeze up on you, just something weird. And it's happened to me so much that I'm actually about to try the Insta360 just to see, just to see if I like it a little better. So the GoPro is mostly great, but it's giving me enough issues that I'm actually going to see if the Insta360 might be a little bit better.
I guess it's my turn to go, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, man. So that's a great question regarding GoPro and Insta360. So I might have a little bit of a different approach from Dude Mungus, which I think is kind of cool, and this is why it's great to have multiple people on and get different takes. So I've been in the game for a little bit, and I've tried several different units. I've actually did a sponsored video by Insta360. I do have one of their units here at home, which I like quite a bit. The quality is great on the Insta360. The problem that I have with Insta360 is the workflow. Okay, if you're doing it straight on your iPhone, it's fairly straightforward. You can kind of, you know, get the footage and then rotate it with your finger and get it done as you want. Also, it has this like mechanical panning feel to it, which I don't like. I guess it's more a cinematographer kind of thing. I like where the movement looks very real, like if someone is moving it. The mechanical pan and stuff kind of throws off the cinematic feel for me. That's just like a personal thing. But outside of that is the workflow. You have to import it to your computer. You have to convert it through a specific Insta360 app. And then you have to put it to Final Cut Pro or Premiere. And then you have to use a specific codec for it. You need a specific setup for the 360 to... We're talking about if you're cutting videos, putting it up daily or every 3 days. First, you need a very powerful computer. You need something that's fast, that can process all of that data and bit rate, and being able to do all of those steps to kind of get to the final where people get to enjoy all that stuff. That's the thing for me. I feel like once the technology has progressed, where the workflow on your computer is different, the actual recording is great. That's not a problem at all. The back end, the post-production work, that's where you start encountering issues. Now, for GoPro's been in the game for a long time. They know what they're doing. The only problem that I have, I wish their integrations, basically their upgrades would be a lot bigger and better. There's just like small little increments for the, you know, it's like a yearly quota for the holidays. Like the companies, you know, they're looking at their stocks, like for the holidays, they want to have something new out. So what they do it best, really. Their best iteration right now is the 9 and 10. You know, no more outer casing. It's waterproof. The little bunny ears to hold it, it's at the bottom. You can hold it flat. What else?
Oh yeah.
Better battery. You have the stabilizer in there. I think they have a great unit. But either way, either way you slice it, if you're producing videos, it doesn't matter which camera you have, really. It's how creative you can get with it.
Yeah.
If that answers your question.
Agreed, Mike. I'm at that point now where I'm actually looking at upgrading my computer because my workflow, I guess the technology and the cameras have upgraded so much that now my computer is not really keeping up, and it's kind of slowed down my workflow. And I'm like, okay, I think this is my bottleneck. So I'm at that point where I need to get a better computer, a better processor, so I can get some content out, you know, easier, get that workflow together like you were talking about.
For a GoPro, also here's a major setback for a GoPro. They don't improve this. They don't make this any better, and it's the weirdest thing ever, okay? The naming convention of each file is just jacked up. From the beginning till right now, it's jacked up. You have to find each one of your files, connect it, make sure it's the first clip, second clip, third clip, completely jacked up. Also, they're $1 billion company. They can't get a great codec that works. You know, it could be a ProRes, it could be .mp4 or .mov. Their Kodak takes so much space. When you do like a full day of GoPro shooting, you're gonna have over 100 gigs. Yeah, it takes a lot. biggest problem. Having a better Kodak would be an amazing thing. They have their own processor in the new 9 and 10. You would think they would produce better Kodak, something that works better with like a Mac or PC. But whatever the GoPro file, it's big, it's bulky. A lot of the time they have to kind of patch each other for them to work, and they've never worked on that system.
Yeah.
Biggest problem with them. Yeah. But
I agree.
if you're fortunate, I have a beastly computer behind me, which is where my editing bay is in, and I also have a custom Mac, a laptop, which doesn't slow anything down. But with my experience from before, where I had like let's say if you picked up a over-the-counter Mac or something like that, it might chug a little bit. So
that's me.
you wanna stack up that RAM as much as possible, because that GoPro file, I'm telling you, that Kodak is straight garbage.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I need to do. That's what you said, exactly what I did. Started YouTube, and I just over the counter just got one, and then it worked fine at first. But like I said, as stuff advanced, I was like, ooh, this is getting a little bit slower and slower. And I was like, oh my god, I don't think my computer can keep up.
What are you using a Mac or are you using a Mac, but are you using Final Cut or Premiere?
Final Cut.
Final Cut. So here's a hot tip for you guys that are out there. So what you're gonna want to do, since your computer is slowing down, when you import all of your files, you kind of organize everything. You wanna, I don't know if you do this, you're gonna transcode the file.
Yeah, man. See, yeah.
Transcode So here's the thing: if you're working in, let's say if you have 30 gigs, but you want to cut a video that has 3 bricks of footage, only organize that, import that in, transcode it. Once that's been transcoded, you want to go to the upper right of the screen, right before you do Command 4. You'll see where it says 100% you could view, or you hit view. Hit that button. Go under preferred proxy.
Okay.
For a computer that's running standard RAM and stuff like that, it's going to be mad smooth.
Gotcha. Preferred proxy.
So the way you're going to want to do that, when you go for your ride, you finish importing everything. Before bed, you do all your import, right? And then you do transcode while you sleep.
Okay.
Because it takes a while.
Gotcha.
But you'll be able to work really, really smooth. So you want to do it overnight or something like that, or while you're having dinner or breakfast.
Right,
so
gotcha.
100% is going to improve your workflow. These are some of the little loopholes and stuff like that. So a little gem.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually an issue I'm having with, I had to resort back to using my Hero 9 because after they did the update for the Hero 10, the footage no longer transcodes for me in Final Cut Pro. And I was like, yo, I don't know what to do if it doesn't transcode. So if I try to look over the footage, it literally just freezes up my entire computer. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I actually went back to my Hero 9.
So here's another good tip. While we here, might as well,
help me out, man.
Share the information. So Final Cut people, I love using Final Cut. I know some people don't like using it. Some people use Premiere, but I use Final Cut. You want to control your transcoding. A lot of people, Apple set it up to automatic. So what's been happening to your videos, okay? The reason why your computer is chugging and it's not doing it right, when you create a library, you start your project, you put everything in it, it automatically transcode it. Your file becomes so many gigs, the memory. So you want to turn off automatic transcoding. You control what renders, you control what transcodes, and it will always work smooth. So it's kind of a budget way to work on a computer that's not super powerful. And let's say if you only have three 10-minute clips, that's 30 minutes. You're going to transcode them. You won't even need to render them. Go under preferred preference proxy. It's going to play nice and smooth. And then towards the end, after you do your bug or you do your title, everything else, you do one render. That's going to be like maybe a couple of megabytes. You ever done Command I or something like that on one of your projects? It's like 800 gigs or something weird like that. It's because all of the files are compounded inside the library, which you can't take apart.
Gotcha.
Slows your whole computer down.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
If anything, I'll probably show you that on the back end. Huh?
And I'm gonna try that out tonight.
Yeah. Probably on the back end, I'll probably end up showing you how to do it. But it's definitely, you'll be able to work with you won't need to go buy a computer very quickly, but you'll be able to use that for a while before you actually have to flip it over and go get a bigger and better computer and stuff like that.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Little gem here for whoever's watching and stuff so they know. Let me see if there's any other great little questions here. Oh, here's another. That's funny that we're talking about this. People started asking. Saison Action here. Question. What editing programs do you guys use for your editing? I use Final Cut Pro X, man. That's me.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
We both use Final Cut.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else got? Oh, I guess a lot of people see the same thing that happens here with their GoPro. I'm having issues with my MacBook Pro undoing my edits after it saves to the computer. So when I upload it to YouTube, I notice it and I have to edit within YouTube Studios. That's kind of a weird thing. That's by Saison Moto as well. I don't render my files from Final Cut. Again, another tip. I mean, I love editing and doing all that post stuff. So now we're like going into the space that I really love. So I don't render any of my stuff on Final Cut. I use compressor to get the highest bit rate, highest quality, highest 4K or 5K through that. So I do the job to Final Cut Pro X and then do a batch conversion to compressor. Compressor is like a cheap program by Apple, like $70 or something like that. But it's the best way to render it highest quality.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk offline because I have compressor and have never used it before. I thought all of that was part of Final Cut, bro. Like, yeah, we gotta talk.
No, sir. Final Cut. I use that. That's the best way. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm learning.
Learning. Yeah, we have Moto Max in the building as well, guys. He's out in New York as well. Man, if you guys have any question you want to throw up, definitely throw it now. We will definitely answer. You know, it could be about anything, so no problem at all. When are you guys doing a meet in ATL? Tennessee's been getting all the love. You know what's so funny? That was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask Eli here. I've never been to Atlanta. I would definitely like to go out there. So one thing that happens a lot I'm seeing with the road racing scene, and I think it's really dope. Everyone tends to travel out to Detroit, Nashville, Florida, right? And they all ride. How do you guys end up doing this all the time and never really missing this stuff? And what's the take?
So you talking about like going to the meet?
Yeah, because not everybody's from, you know, all over the place from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So we kind of like now I'm kind of trying to space them out a little bit, but you know, whenever I hear about a meet, you know, of course, you know, like I'm a husband first, then I'm a father, so I, you know, get with the fam, see what the wifey says. If there's anything we got planned, if there's nothing planned, we got the time. Then I'm like, okay, you know what, I can try to make a weekend trip or whatever to get up there. So I'm just, you know, I try to space them out so they're not so back to back. But I'm kind of in the area or circle where I hear about meets, you know, quite often. And a lot of these meets are like invite only, so it's not just free information. I can just be like, yeah, I'm gonna be at such and such and such and such time. So yeah, it's just, you know, I can get around and I can make it work with my make it work with my family schedule, my work schedule. You know, I'll pretty much be there.
Yeah, I mean, I always think it's very interesting when I start seeing more and more faces are moving towards these meetups, which I think is really cool. To be honest, it definitely costs for you to have either you could fly out there, which I much prefer. So I'm just saying, I get to edit on my way back, or at least just kind of chill and stuff like that. And I've been fortunate enough where people have been, you know, allowing me to use their bikes and stuff. That's been kind of cool. Very thankful for that. People are either driving or towing their bikes and stuff like that. That stuff has to be costly to be doing every single time.
It's costly, one, in time and, you know, in money. You know, we live in the real world, and what we've seen is these gas prices go up, and you like to think it doesn't affect you, but I mean, you know, the gas got up so high down here, dude. It's costing $20 to fill up a bike. Like, when has that ever been a thing? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a motorcycle. Why is it costing me $20 to fill up? And we're, you know, you ride all day, so you're like $20 here, $20 there, $20 there, and then you know your boy got to eat. Then I got to eat. I'm like, wait a minute, I went out. How did I spend $120, $150? I'm on the bike all day. Like, how's that even, you know, how's that even a thing? So the last trip we went to Nashville, you know, the weather turned a little, you know, it started raining a little bit. So me and Jack B. Quick are outside, and we're loading up the bikes, it's sprinkling on us. We're trying to get it done before, you know, the sky just opens up. And we're out there probably an hour, you know, loading up his bike. And, you know, it's not just loading up the bikes. You got to make sure they're strapped down to where they're not going to fall over or something. You know, if you hit a bump in the road, you're not just going to lose your whole load. So it takes time, you know, time and money to hit these events. So this year I was like, okay, you got to spread these things out a little bit because, you know, you know, I'm not trying to preach or anything like that, but the cost of living is it just went up, and I'm not trying to, you know, politic or nothing like that, but the price of everything is just going up. So it's like, hey, you know, where I could have taken a trip and spent $200, now I'm taking this trip and it's $600. I'm just like, okay, let's space this out a little bit. a little bit more because, you know, just like with the channel at my size, the return isn't justifiable for going to every meet back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I observe as well. I mean, like I said, it's very different, man. I'm pretty fortunate enough to have companies that back up the channel. My channel's not tremendously big. At least I find I would say at least I do business well in the back end. Me personally, that where I could, you know, where I could head out to Texas or Nashville and have people kind of partner and get it done. So,
that's what's up.
Which I think is kind of helpful and I think ideal to kind of do that. But seeing like everyday people that works and stuff taking time from work to just do it, I always thought to myself, I'm like, it's really dope and everybody's very excited to be there. And I'm like, damn, that's what is the ROI on actually doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun to you know, get to meet up with everyone maybe you haven't seen. You know, like one of my good friends, I love seeing this guy, Boosted Catfish. I love seeing that guy, Adam. He's just a cool cat. I love hanging out with him.
Wait. You know what? You hold that thought. Let me see if I could roll this up. I'm so glad you mentioned this. I'm doing a documentary. And I did my first cut, and my wife is going to be doing a second cut. I'm going to see if I could load up Final Cut real quick, see if I could zoom in on my computer so you guys could see some of the... I think it's going to be really, really dope. So hold on. I'm going to give you the floor. That way you could actually talk as I do that real quick. That's the one beauty of actually doing this in my home office. I can kind of go back and forth on both desks and stuff. So hold on. So there you go, Eli. You could actually promote yourself and let the people know I get you. Hold on.
Stage 3. Let's go. All right, am I good to go? Boom, shaka. I guess I'm good to go. But yeah, so one person I actually love meeting up with is Boosted Catfish Adam. You know, time might go by, and you know, I might see him twice a year. I know for sure I'm probably most likely going to see him in Miami at the beginning of the year, and then if they throw me, like they actually just thrown to me in Carolina, and I wasn't able to come, and I was like, dang, I really wanted to go see my man to hang out with him, but you know, it's not feasible all the time because for me, like I said, you know, I am a husband first and I'm a father, and you know, I like hanging out with I'm the guy. I like hanging out with my family. So if I have some free time and I'm not doing anything, it's like, you know what, yeah, let's just hang out with the fam, and maybe I can't go to this meet, but you know what, I'll just hang out with the fam hang out with the fam. I'll miss out and hang out with the fam, but we have a good time, you know, so it's just, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. You can't, realistically, you can't make everything. You would love to make everything, but you can't make everything. I had another friend, Easy Rider Moto, which he's been on here before too. Me and him both threw an event weekends. Like his event was one weekend, my event was the very next weekend. Being his first event, I really wanted to make it up there so I could see him and support him for his first event. But logistically, I just couldn't make it happen at all. Little gnat. That was it, Mike. What we doing? We here. All right. Go to see if we got some questions. Saison Moto, do you plan your subjects when you ride? Sometimes I do. So specifically for this Gixxer, I know I've been taking this bike through some stages, and I knew for sure that I wanted to go through the stage, what I call stages, and I kind of mapped it out. Now, when I go on the ride, do I know specifically what I'm going to say or what I'm going to talk about? I have no idea. I feel like I want to keep it kind of organic. Like I know the general basis. So when I had just had my Dumungous meet down here in Atlanta, I knew before the meet on Saturday, I knew we was going to go ride. I wanted to go ride Red Top Mountain. I wanted to go ride Brushy Mountain. And then after that, we was heading to the event. That's all I planned. Like the expectations, I think if you put too many, you know, expectations or stipulations on it, you can kind of be let down. So I just kind of like to let things just kind of free flow and just kind of do what they do. So I have a general idea of what I'm going to do. So this bike, stage 1, I lowered the bike at stage stock. So I knew I'm going to go out with the bike stock, you know, no tune, no nothing on it. That's my stage 1. I'm just going to go out and experience what happens. What it does is what it does. Then I went to stage 2. So specifically, I know this is stage 2. I'm just going to go out and let it do what it do. Now the bike is on stage 3. So I just, stage 3, and it does what it does. So each stage of the bike, I know I want to test it out. I want to see how it does against top competition, some of the guys I normally kind of race against. So I just want to, kind of see how it does. But no, I don't per se have a plan together, but I do have a general idea when I
you're holding it down like crazy right now.
So what?
You're holding it down like crazy right now, man.
No,
they might as well just fire me. Let me go.
Nah, I got you. Power Moto got a question. Dude Mungus, how low did you set up the bat? So I made a video on this, and I found for me, my perfect setup for me, and I actually got this from my cousin when he lowered his bike to the ZX10. It kind of inspired me. But I lowered the front 2 inches and a quarter, and then I lowered the rear 2 inches. And I found for me, that is kind of like the perfect balance between kind of a roll race setup, but not losing what you can do on the street as far as like mountain roads and curves goes. Because I know, so for you guys that don't know, I know probably my racing videos get the most attention, but I love mountains. I love back roads. I love curves. I actually have a track day coming up at Road Atlanta, August 6th and 7th. I love corners. And I'm not necessarily the guy that's trying to drag me or drag elbow, but I love getting leaned over. I absolutely love it. So roll racing is just kind of, just kind of a byproduct of being lowered. So being lowered kind of helps in roll racing, but the main reason I lowered the bike is just because I think it looks good. It's what I call scrumdiddly. I just think it looks better. And for me not to be hindered with the bike being lowered, I don't think there's any need. This is me personally. I don't think there's any need for a 13-foot adventure bike gap. If you don't need to, I can go to a gap like this and the bike still handles perfectly fine. A lot of people will think that, the suspension is ruined or the bike won't handle, but dude, it dives in the turns just as easy as it did at stock height. Like I just, I have a good time. So yeah, Power Moto, I lowered it 2 1/4 in the front and 2 in the rear. Now what you have to find for yourself, because I'm pretty sure we're different weights, you have to find what weight works better, for your bike, for you. So 2 inches might not work for you. It might be 1.5 inches that works a little bit better for you. So you kind of got to play around with it and see how it goes.
All right, let me play this real quick, guys. Just a small little clip. Got this all queued up here. Let's see. Hopefully I got my, of course. All right, cool.
Ooh, man. I like these questions, man.
My name is Adam. I go by Boosted Catfish. It's been my nickname for the last 10 years. Nickname generated from a Camaro I used to have a lot of years ago. It was turbocharged in a 4th gen, and the 4th gen stuff kind of looks like Catfish, so just stuck. Somebody gave it to me, and I ran with it. Being an adrenaline junkie, I had to get something fast. First street bike, which was a Bandit, a Suzuki Bandit. I want to say, I think it was a 97 of all things. Had a motor work, stretched, lowered a little bit. It was not fast compared to today's standards, but it did all right. It was a lot of fun. Stopped riding for a few years to do my prior career stuff. Just kind of a pain in the butt to ride a motorcycle in the military. They want you to have all their safety stuff, and you got to go through a riding course, which is not a bad idea. Picked up the car stuff really heavy and started drag racing cars. We would go to car meets or hangouts or the track or whatever, and you always kind of race your buddies. You kind of goof off on the highway, and you like.
By the way, what you guys are just seeing here, how you saw how it changed. You're seeing like the raw, because I shoot raw where it's like highest bit rate, and when you saw the color change, that is basically my color correction. So it's a really dope documentary. Just like you're seeing just the you guys are just seeing just him just going over, but it touched base on a lot about roll racing, on how some of the rules, and about past accident and how things are handled. Really dope interview I did with him. We have like over an hour plus of footage, and this is just the main timeline. And drone footage, this thing is gonna be nasty, but I know the way YouTube is, and it's probably not gonna get tons of views, but I thought it's gonna be something really dope to highlight. I have some amazing shots of 5 Up and Evan like tuning bikes in the garage and stuff. It almost feels very reminiscent of Actually, I wouldn't say even reminiscent. You know what it is? It's Fast and the Furious. It's Dom and the gang. It's just that dope. And I'm just like going through everything, and I'm like, people have no idea how cool the whole thing looks, and just him telling his stories. I have some shots of his scars from past crashes and stuff, and I'm telling you, I'm very excited to kind of get this video done, and I think people will find, you know, I wanted to do a real approach, like a full documentary, and I was going to cut it down to make like a 10-minute thing. I'm just going to make a whole, like maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Do it.
I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool, man. Sorry, it took me a little bit. I was pulling that off my server and loaded to the actual computer and stuff, which...
No, that's good, man. Actually got to answer a few questions, man, so that's good.
Oh, nice.
I see another one in here I wanted to answer real quick.
Yeah.
Solo Rider 82. Dude Mungus, what was the biggest challenge starting your YouTube channel?
Ooh, that's a good
one. For
one.
me, the biggest challenge, and this is some advice I got from my, I call him my big bro Ham. He's the one who actually taught me how to edit. The biggest challenge to starting my YouTube was literally just starting. Like, so we have in our mind this vision. I'm pretty sure you'll be the same way. We have this vision of how we want this entire production of what we want to be out. And, you know, a lot of times starting off, you just don't have the equipment, or you don't have the know-how how to bring your vision to life as you see it. Like, for my first video, I was thinking like it was about to be like this movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Everyone go to the movie theater, get your popcorn, get your, you know, get your jacks, get everything, get ready, because this is about to be production. And then I get to my first video, and I'm like, there's nothing like what I envisioned. Nothing at all. So don't worry about it being perfect. Don't worry about dotting all your T's and, you know, crossing out. Don't worry about none of that stuff. Just put it out there. Just start. And eventually you will see. That's why you see a lot of channels, they will start off a certain way, and then you'll notice, you check them out a year down the road, and like, oh, they really progressed. They picture and audio quality has gotten better. They really, you know, they're really doing something. So don't worry about being perfect. Literally just start and be consistent, and you'll see the change and the growth come in your channel.
That was a great question, man. What the biggest thing, the biggest obstacle to actually starting YouTube? Shit. For me, it wasn't like an obstacle for me starting YouTube. I think my biggest obstacle is really continuing YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I think at some point, you know, okay, so I'm shit in deep when we're talking about YouTube at this point. I have a home server, okay? Because listen, you're gonna go through the stages of like using terrible cameras, which I skipped that because I had a friend that actually had a GoPro. They let me borrow it, and that's how I started, which was great. And then you start using cameras, upgrading cameras, and of course, like just like Eli just mentioned, his computer's too slow to keep up the pace of workflow. That happened, and then of course you have the multiple drives, right? I did a mistake where I deleted some of my old stuff from back then, which I should have never. So eventually you have a stack of 6 small drives of terabytes, and then you run into some real issue. What do? Do you delete everything, or next step, which is where I'm at? I have a whole server at home, my home office, which has is it over 100 terabytes?
Holy crap!
Yeah, and there's still bays that I could fill. So realistically, once you go down the rabbit hole, and then you're going and going, and for me and personally, I'm not one of those people that was willing to walk away from something, not because that I've invested into it. I mean, granted, I got lucky where I'm able to do, like you guys know, I produce content for motivation, so some of this stuff pays for itself, and even some of my bikes pay for themselves. But in most cases, people are just coming out of pocket, and it's difficult for you to continue doing that having no ROI. And I think that's harder than, for me. Oh yeah, that's harder than just starting. Because when you're starting, you got a little oomph. You think you're the shit. You think, yeah, I'm gonna blow up. So you're gonna start. You know what I mean? But then after a year passed, 2 years passed, and it's like, yeah. That's the hardest take for me.
Yeah, I agree that without the return on investment, like you really got to start thinking like, okay, you know what? Let me be a little bit smarter about this.
Yes, sir. Let's see what any great question that Randy's Reality mentioned over 100 terabytes. Yeah, man, I have this NAS, was it like 12 bays or something like that, and each bay can be swapped out. It's a very impressive technology. I mean, granted, you know, I'd say around maybe 6,000 to have that set up. But, you know, I use that at least for professional work also, not just for YouTube, so I don't want people to think that that's the whole thing. So,
right.
But there's other means around it. And I store all of Motivation's files on there. They have access to that drive and stuff like that. So,
that's dope.
You know.
That's pretty dope.
So nothing really gets ever thrown away and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
That's what you hear. I love how they say what was the biggest challenge. Any other cool questions that I might have missed that I didn't ask? Oh, here's another one. That was for you though, but I'll see if I could probably jump in there too. From Season Moto here. Do you plan your subject when you ride, or do you just freestyle it? Oh shit, that's a great question, man. See, now I'm gonna rewatch because I want to see what Eli said.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind. Yeah, I can answer it again. I don't mind answering it again.
Yeah, I want to hear what your thought is, because funny thing is I've experienced all of those.
So for me,
I'll let you go first.
Most of the time, okay, yeah. So for me, most of the time, I really freestyle. Like I have, like I said before, I have a general basis of what I'm going to do. Like I gave the example of this bike. I've taken it through what I consider stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So when I took it through stage 1, I knew, hey, I'm taking it to stage 1. I got the bike set up. I'm going to test it. After that, there was no planning involved. I just let whatever happen, because I like to be organic and, you know, just kind of let things come out, you know, kind of how they come out. And like I gave another example, when I planned my Duke Mungus meet before the actual bike blessing, I knew I wanted to ride through Red Top Mountain, I wanted to ride through Brushy Mountain, and then we were going to head down to the meet. So outside of knowing I'm going to these destinations, I had no idea what was going to happen. But I knew with the group of guys I was with, we were going to have a good time. So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of how I do it. But if there is a point where I need to mention, you know, a sponsor like my sponsor I got now, Stage 3, you know, I will, you know, kind of try to plan my words together. But, you know, still, most of the time I freestyle though.
Yeah. So at least when I first started early on, I used to kind of just go out there. I'm like, oh, I live in New York. I'm just going to throw my camera on. There's so much stuff going on. It's going to be exciting. Soon you'll get over that really quickly, and people will be like, okay, what's the point? What are we here about? You know, it's like either you think you're Mr. the shit or you're cool. Otherwise, it's going to sink in. Also, I found myself diving so many hours into, because I have a 128 gig card on each GoPro.
Gotcha.
And I would fill that up through a whole day. And it's like filtering through that to find what's going on. That's interesting. Yeah. It's taking a long time. And then that brings me to exactly where Eli was. If your computer's not fast enough, you're doing that. It could be very tedious, almost annoying, where you won't do it anymore. But I quickly learned. So when I started doing the motivation stuff, you know, they're like product placement or instructional stuff. You have to have a execution plan, know exactly what you're doing at some point.
Yep. And
that streamlines the video. Also, I'm not recording 200 gigs. I'm recording maybe 30 gigs, right? Took the same system, right? I have a controller. I control each one of the GoPros.
Nice.
And I kind of turn it on. I have bullet points, right? For example, let's say if I'm talking about carbon fiber wheels or whatever on my ride or whatever. There's maybe 4 bullet points, because you want to have some kind of meat to your video. Because I think people tend to see fluff and hear fluff, and they could be like, what is this? You know what I mean? Yeah, he has a cool bike, and you know he's riding fast, and he's really not saying anything. So in the mix of you being yourself and freestyle, like you said, which is a little bit of everything, I hit my key points, at least 4 of them. Right. You know what I mean? And then that shaves down my time for me to edit all that stuff. I'm not going through like hundreds of gigs of footage. At least that's works best for me. At least now, that space is the best time. I can actually go out and ride, do what I'm doing, and fix my pacing, and have my video done by tomorrow morning. But then again, you have to have a fast computer that's going to render it, because I'll render a good 10-minute video in like 3 minutes, maybe.
Dang. Okay, Playboy.
Got a beast, man. So, that was a great question, actually.
That's pretty good. Some of my coolest moments, I think, happen when I totally forget that I'm filming. So I'm like, I got some advice from Eve. So similar to you, I'll have an idea of what I'm gonna talk about, and I used to be that guy that filmed, and I would fill up my entire memory card in a day.
Yes.
But I've kind of cut it down. Like, all right. But some of them organic moments, they're just gold.
And the funny thing is, I think over time, as you're writing and you're creating content, you start building this third sense almost. You can tell. For example, when I was out in Detroit, right? I was in the Street Fighter. I was with 5 Up, and he was with his girl, Boosted Catfish. Everybody was rocking and rolling and stuff like that. I didn't have my GoPro running the entire time, but I do have my controller on me. I could see far ahead. I'm like, oh shit, a tunnel's coming. We're gonna do an on-ramp, off-ramp. Yeah. Like, you can tell, preemptively. It's one of those things that comes with the experience of you doing it, and then you kind of pacing your story and you kind of pacing the time frame with it. Again, these are small little gems. I don't know if they're gonna help anybody really, but those things work really great. And you end up having something really cohesive that's not so much fluff. And that's not to say that you shouldn't have any just fun, and because I do have a lot of that stuff in my thing, but once you start getting really used to it, you're getting the gist of thing, it's gonna appear seamless. The fun aspect, the spontaneity, and then the speed, everything, the inertia is gonna look like it's one, but it's really not. Because you have to remember, we're performing, you're watching a short film, you're watching a short story, even though it doesn't look like it. Trust me, Eli, I spent time on it. I'm sure you did. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Making it seamless is the magic, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, try to limit the downtime or, fluff and, like trying to keep it to when I edit, I try to keep it to, the subject of the title or, just trying to, because, my channel, my whole thing is, I'm telling you a story through my eyes. Like, just imagine you were me, and this is what you're seeing. This is what I'm experiencing, and that's what I try to bring through my channel.
Yeah, man, really, really cool stuff. By the way, Cezanne mentioned here, do you guys enjoy the smell of a new bike, or is it just me? I've had 6 total brand new bikes in my life, and that the new smell gets me. Or am I weird? You're a little weird, sir.
Hilarious.
I'm kidding, man. Everybody gets excited. I'd be really, really ecstatic for me to kind of get new bikes all the time. I'll tell you a little fun thing that I do about my new bikes. I know Eli doesn't, but it's his thing because he did his first ride the first time he rode his bike home. I have never bought a brand new bike and rode it from the dealership.
What?
I'll tell you why, though, but never.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I don't do that. I just don't do it, man. Whenever I buy a bike, outside of me getting probably my first service, I usually ask the dealer to do it as part of my deal. They have to deliver my bike to my house.
Gotcha, okay.
And then have someone walk me through everything. That's usually part of it. Because you know what it is? I feel like early on, if something were to happen or goes bad, it tends to happen very early on. You're not used to the bike, you're not accustomed to the torque or the seating position, reaching the floor. I feel like those things, I always experience them, within 20 miles from my home.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I could see that. I definitely, I remember taking the Gixxer home, and it's like what you're talking about. It was so new, position, foot pegs, everything was so new. I was like, I'm not even worried about changing anything. I'm just gonna ride it as is, and I'll figure it out kind of as I go. But that actually is a pretty good idea to make sure you get acclimated with the bike, before you like, okay, let me go ride. That's a good idea. I can see that.
Yeah, because what happened is you're excited. The bike is brand new. I've seen people jump on the bike, either do like dumb stuff. People that's been riding for a long time. It's like knocking it down because of the kickstand, or not even adjusting the mirrors. I've actually had a friend of mine who rear-ended someone within brand new getting their bike, granted, the bike wasn't total or anything. I scuffed it because, you know, he's fixing mirrors as he's going. You know, it's exciting. It's stuff like that happens. It's like, for me, it's like, not bring it to my home. The excitement, I like to let that sink in, where it's like, I'm not like overtly excited, like, yeah, look at me, you know what I mean? So you know, they bring it to my house, like, you know, I go on about my day, and like a day after, I go to my garage, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And then, you know, I'm very composed. No jitters, nothing like that, you know, whatever. It's just one of those things. And I think with like maturity and time, for me, it's like, all right, cool.
No, that's actually good. I know I'd be like a kid. I probably am way too excited. I was like, hey, Buggers, you need to chill. You need to calm down. That's what you need to do.
So, these are fun little things. I guess people get to learn a little bit about me in between these goddamn crazy streams. But yeah, I think it's cool, man. Let me see. Oh, he also mentioned here is on Saturday he made a 25-minute video and it took about 2 hours to render and upload. Damn.
Shit. Yeah, that's a wow.
That's a long time. 2 hours, man. Jesus, what are you rendering it? 100K?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's
even my
that's
slow
not
computer goes a little bit faster than that one.
Yo, here's a good tip also. Shit, I feel like I'm just like talking about tips today. It's crazy.
Hey, drop the nuggets, man. Drop the nuggets.
If you guys are cutting, if you don't have a big badass computer that's super fast, when you cut your initial video, you want to do a 720 render to review it. Because I find so often people do this. I've done this in the past where I forgot, maybe I misspelled someone's name, or maybe I didn't put my tag, I didn't do the logo. You have to re-render. If you have a slow computer, that could be like,
yes.
So do a 720 render to review it, make sure everything looks good, and because that's gonna be like a couple of minutes. And then you do your 4K render probably overnight if you have a slow computer, or probably over dinner, something like that. So just kind of keep those things in mind. Those are.
That's a good idea, man. Because I know I've done that before.
Miso, come in.
Hey, I spelled something wrong. I'm like, But look, once it hits YouTube and it's upload, I'm like, yo, it is what it is, man. It's just gonna be, it is what it is. Hopefully you get the gist of what I was trying to say.
But yeah, man.
That re-render be taking forever, bro. That's a good idea to do it in 720 first. That's actually not a bad idea.
720, just to review. If you're just reviewing,
just to review it, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because one thing that I do, I render it very small. I watch it on my phone, making sure my audio sounds good. Check an iPad, laptop, my living room computer. Because early on, these are mistakes I made very, very early on. I don't make those mistakes anymore. Where the sound sounds perfect, and then I upload it. I'm like, wow, that doesn't sound the way I thought it sounded. So. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, when you edit, like when you're like specifically checking audio or whatever, are you using like headphones to edit, or are you using like the computer speakers?
So I have studio monitors behind me. I don't know if you guys can't make those out. I have two audio monitors. I mean, it's my place, so nobody's here, so I can play as loud as I want.
Gotcha.
I also have studio monitor headphones, so at night if my wife's just sleeping and she's upstairs, I use the studio monitors. So two things: I don't color correct by looking at the screen, like at least how it looks, and I don't fix my audio by looking at my hearing it. I go by the decibel, so I go by -3 below from 0, and for the color correction, I go below 100, below 100 and above 0. I don't look at the screen because each screen color is a little bit different. When it looks perfect to you, it doesn't look anything like anybody else.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I fell into that with the speakers because I was editing and I was using my Beats by Dre to edit, and what I would hear is not what my viewers would hear. So I edit more towards people watching on their phone, versus kicking back and watching, at home on the TV or whatever. Because my videos I upload so early in the morning, a lot of people literally will watch them on the way to work. So I'm just like, okay, most people are going to be on their phone, or they might be in with their Bluetooth system in their car. But I just had to stop using headphones altogether, because what I would hear wouldn't be what other people, would hear. So I was like, all right, let me try to find like a good balance to where, it could come out to where you can at least hear it on phone speakers.
You can use Audio-Technica speakers, or you can do M-Audio speakers. They're going to be like maybe $300 each speaker on the cheap end, but you can get some that are decent. There's some headphones that are like $200. Whatever you hear on those, it's like mixed down. They do the same thing mixed down on for professional music. It's what everyone's gonna hear across all the board.
Got you. Okay.
Play my videos. You're gonna hear. I rode Eve's ZX10R. Just hear that thing. Clean.
Nice.
So, again, man, it's one of those things. You can start going down the rabbit hole of YouTube. It's like you want to do better. You spend more money. You want to. All of these things. Nope. They go unseen, they go unnoticed. Nobody really care, really. It's just one of those personal satisfaction. It's a little sad, really, sometimes.
Hey, man, it's part of it, man. You try to produce a better product and advance, and take your channel, to a different level. It's like you said, it's part of the background stuff that no one really sees or hears about. They just notice, hey, this is very pleasant to watch.
Yes,
it's very pleasant to listen to.
And it's seamless, and it's just really, really cool, man. For me, I think that aspect of doing YouTube I really like a lot, and really interacting with people, like talking with people, and it's great that people are tuning in and watching. We're talking back and forth. I'm in New York, you in Atlanta. It's all this to me. That's the best part, really the best part of all this. Like, we can all just come together, even though we're not all together.
Right. Agreed. That's the part, just like you said, that's the part of social media that I love, man. Just like just mirroring what you said, just coming together, even though we're not physically in the same spot. This is something I learned with my friends. So I like video games too. I'm a heavy gamer. And me and my friends.
Wait. We're about to end the stream right now if you're on the wrong console. Are you on Xbox? You better not say Xbox, man.
Hey, man, you better chill, bro. Xbox is the way, bro.
Yo, he's on Xbox. Oh, my God. Fuck. Stop it. Oh, my. I've been playing.
Xbox is the way, bro.
Oh, my God. I've been playing Sony forever, man.
I definitely want to play PlayStation, man. I love God of War is one of my favorite games.
Oh, my God.
Period. And you only can get it on PlayStation. So I actually need to get it on
Xbox,
guys. I think they got a new one coming out.
He's on Xbox.
Microsoft, man.
Now, I have a Switch on my office desk, which I used to kind of time out just to play in between. So, but Sony guy all day. I've been playing Nintendo. Well, I'm saying Nintendo. When I was a kid, Nintendo, but I from Nintendo to Sony, I've just been there. Well, PS5 all day now.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Oh, man. Hold on. I saw a couple of other questions coming in. Hold on.
Okay, let's do it.
It's for Solo Rider 82. Mike, have you done any upgrades to the Hyper to improve performance? If so, what was the difference when riding after? Any recommendation? I'm so glad you mentioned that. I just got this crazy package. You know what? Babe, you know what? Might as well. Sweetie, can you hear me?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it, man.
Babe, she's actually editing on her laptop. She's in the dining room. All right, hold on. I'm going to run back real quick. I just got a really dope care package from Motivation. It was like a ton of carbon fiber for the Street Fighter, Ilmberger carbon fiber. They sent a couple of parts for my Hyper. I did the air filter, the Sprint air filter on there, which is great. I did the exhaust on there, which is super light and loud. I am going to be doing a T800 up map, but I got a ton of Ducati parts that they sent me to throw on and stuff. So, she actually heard me. She heard me through the stuff. So here's some. Hopefully you could make those. Actually, let me.
Wipe you the MVP. Let's go wipe it.
So there we go. We got a couple of Ducati parts and stuff just protected. There's just a bunch. They sent a lot. Sweetie, can you grab me some of the Ilmberger stuff? Can I get that fender? Can you get me that carbon fiber? Just one piece.
sir.
Dude, I'm gonna say right now, not to be like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to think like any weird, man. I've been grinding for so long and really to get these opportunities. Not that, and I'm super, super thankful for being able to do this stuff and then being able to not have to come out of pocket. So this is some Ilmberger carbon. This is the lot. Babe,
awesome.
don't take them all out, please. I don't want to put them back on, but this stuff is really, really dope. Again, if you guys want to support like the channel and stuff. No, it's okay. I'll take that piece too. But hold on, can you guys see that?
It looks good, man.
I have never seen carbon fiber like this that shows you. You see where the entrance is? These things have a ring on them, so you don't have to pre-drill them or anything like that.
Ah,
so this is like OEM level of carbon fiber.
Nice.
These are like probably like
That's very nice.
$400 or $500 pieces. Let me see this other one you're holding, sweet.
That is very nice. I don't think I've seen that either before.
Yeah, they send a lot of stuff, man. And these guys, to be honest, they take very good care of me and my wife in the channel. So I'm not even gonna lie.
That's dope. Hey man, congratulations, bro. It's good you put in that work and you send the fruit to your labor, man. That's dope.
So there is so many parts that I need to put on and stuff like that. So, and I really love the fact that everything they send, they put little notes with my name on it, like a clutch first on it, which is kind of cool, man.
Nice.
Here, so you put this away. I've actually been they were delivered a while ago, and they've just been sitting. I haven't really worked on the bikes, but I definitely need to do the up map on the Hyper. So I rode. I don't know if you guys know Michael Griffin's bike. He's a professional football player. He gave me one of his bikes for the day while I was out in Texas, and his Hyper runs way nicer than mine, and it's so good. And I'm like, what did he do that's different from mine? He has an up map on his, so that's my next thing.
Yeah, man. You'd be surprised what a tune to do for a bike, man. It'll completely change, the way a bike, the characteristics of it. That tune is money.
Let me ask you a question. Are you GP shifting or standard shifting?
I am GP shift, so I recently got converted over to GP shift.
Me
man.
too.
It is, dude, it's amazing, man. Like, just with me, like I said, I love mountains and hitting the curve. It's so, they say you're not supposed to shift while you're in the corner, but it's so butter and seamless to shift while you're in the corner. I'm just like, I get, not that I'm trying to be one of these guys. I was like, I get why the racers and the MotoGP riders, I get why they're GP shift. I totally understand it because you shift, GP shift, you don't upset the chassis at all. It does it so smooth. You don't have to move or make this extra motion. It's just beautiful, man. Yeah, GP shift for the win, man. And I always thought, I was like, I'll never like GP shift. Standard is the way. But GP shift is amazing. I love it.
After a couple of my trips, I went GP shift. I just converted the Street Fighter into GP shifting. I'm telling you, it's so good.
Yes.
I'm gonna recommend it to anybody. I mean, again, it takes a little bit of getting used to. After 2 rides, you'll get it.
Yeah.
But it is really good. I don't shift in corners, but powering out of a corner, just right after your lean, right after you hit the apex, you're coming out, hitting down to just. There's no that sensation. You can't get it doing standard shifting. So 100% that GP shifting. You might want to do it. If you don't have like a fast bike, for example, it's not on my Hyper. I don't need that. That's a different thing. But if you have like any bike that's fast or that you want to get great timing, I'd say GP shift too.
Hey man, I'm gonna disagree with you on that one, man. I don't think it has to be a fast bike. So I was the guy, right? So I called myself a purist when my Ducati was my first bike I had that had a quick shifter, and I was like, I don't need a quick shifter. I can do it myself. There's no way a computer could be better than me. I experienced the quick shifter, and I was like, holy crap, I can't even lie. This has definitely enhanced the riding experience, and it wasn't to be fast. It was just like, this is just good. It is convenient. It's useful, especially when I took the bike to the track. So I upgraded and I had the quick shifter and auto blip. It just made breaking down the bike so much easier that I didn't have to worry about pulling in clutch. I can just auto blip, auto blip, auto blip, auto blip. And then, so that in turn made me faster on the track. Now that's a situation where I was going faster, but even just riding on the street, the experience of quick shifter and auto blip, it's just beautiful, man. It's just absolutely beautiful.
I'll tell you one thing that I noticed when you're shifting. When you're shifting with your clutch lever, you don't get that same sensation. When you're shifting with your clutch lever, yes, you get the jolt. If it's smooth enough, it'll be very smooth.
Yeah.
With the quick shifter, there's this little. I know why it does it. There's like this little explosion you hear.
Yeah.
It's because it's cutting the fuel, and when it goes back, it reignites, and it's like that sound alone. Nasty.
It is so nasty. I agree. It's not like my current bike. It's not like these Ducatis are that just strong pop, or even the BMWs. But I call it the gypsy pop. It does this thing just like what you're talking about. I'm just like, I just shift just so I can hear that. I'm just like, it is beautiful.
Coming on from like an on ramp or an off ramp. Well, on ramp where you shifting up and hitting down, that, oh my God, so good. When you're coming off ramp and you're downshifting, oh my, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's the best. I agree.
Let's see what I got here. This one's for you, Eli. I've seen your bike before in other channels, but never knew you had a channel. Oh shit, really? Yo, go and subscribe to Dude Mungus right now. What are you talking about, boy? Oh my God.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
I'm gonna sub and watch your content after this live. I like to see your flow of your content. Yeah, man, trust me, he would not be on the live stream if he, wasn't good or had no potential. Well, even if somebody was like starting out, they'll still be here. But trust me, you guys want to show love and support. Out of this conversation, yes, you guys are here, you're watching, but you get what's dope about this is the fact that when you watch his moto vlog, you're gonna see him doing runs with friends or group rides and smacks down. This gives you an idea of who the person is, and he's just like you and I, chill guy, very positive guy, just out there having a good time. I know people tend to look at their content like, oh, it's driving so fast, it's dangerous to other people. He's not a monster, guys. Just a cool guy who likes riding motorcycles and like to open up the throttle every now and then. So go and sub, give him a thumbs up, man. Show some love and support. I'd appreciate it. It's the least I could do with him spending 2 hours of his Sunday night. Yeah. He has children and a wife. He could be doing other things, so I appreciate that.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate the words you said about me. And that's one reason I came up with the name. I put Dude in front of Mungus because I just want people to know I am literally a regular guy. I'm just a dude. That's all I am. I'm nothing fancy, nothing special. I am just a dude, just like everyone else. And, when I do my, my Mungus tips or I do my installs, I really do my installs with simple tools. I don't have the big power drills and I don't have all the specialty tools. But I want you to know, as a regular guy, as a regular dude, you can do this stuff in your garage, and it's not that bad. So that's part of where my name comes from, Dude Mungus, is because I'm just a regular dude. That's what I want people to know. So I appreciate you recognizing that and saying that about me. Thank you.
That is true. Hold on, guys. I'm going to play one last clip before we call it a night. Let me show you one of Eli's meetups, small meetups that he's done, which I thought that was really cool also. I've been meaning to play that a little bit earlier, but we've been kind of, just chatting up a little bit. So I did. Let me just roll this real quick so you guys can see. It's really cool.
For safety reasons, keep it safe, but yeah, it's about to be dope, man. It's about to be fun.
So you get to get a preview of his content while you're here, boy.
What up? What's going on, boy? Good to see you, man. Trip, what's going on, man? I'm Mungus. Nice to meet you, man. I appreciate you making me look short, man. You're making me look short. I appreciate you coming out, bro. Thank you. Tron, what's up, boy? Good to see you, man. Thank you, bro. That's what I want to hear. Trill! What's up, boy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Oh my God, got my boy Rico and Cootis. Yes, sir.
Cootis is good people. He's good people.
Rick, what's going on, boy?
Love Cootis,
good to see you, boy. Appreciate you coming to town, man. Dude. Yo,
I bumped into Cootis in Texas. He's good people, man.
Yeah, man. Cootis is a good dude.
Dude, this is going to be a good day, bro. This is going to be a good day. The squad is lining up.
Yeah.
Got my boy Iceman, okay? Okay, boy. Sheesh. The new 2022 Gen 3 booster.
Look at that roll on, man. That's a clean little meetup, man. That's a nice turnout, dude.
Super dope, man. I was super blessed, man, to have this opportunity.
Got the suspects. Frankenstein. What up, boy? Frankenstein. Reed, Mr. I don't show my face. What up, boy? Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Yo, I'm sad I did not get that Michigan shirt. I didn't know they were selling that.
It is about to go down.
Yeah, man. I had to kind of roll that just so you guys could kind of see a little bit of his content. You know what? Let's do one more. I thought that was cool here,
I
man.
appreciate it, man.
Let's do one more. Let's roll another one here.
All right.
Smackdown. Let's do this highway rip. This was cool too. I like that.
This stuff is stout, but this bike is so raw. I'm gonna miss that raw twitchiness of this bike, man, because that shot makes you ride it, bro. Like, you have to ride it. You can't just, the bike don't ride itself. Like, you literally have to ride it. And I'm definitely gonna miss that about this daggum bike. And you know, it's very bittersweet because I did start my channel on Deadshot, and I met a lot of people because of Deadshot, and just being Deadshot's interaction, how I modified Deadshot. Like, I met a lot of cool people, and Dude Mungus was established with this bike, so it's extremely bittersweet to get rid of this bike. But I think it's time to move on, to go do something different, and I think the bat is going to be very good for that. And this road is just a little too open for me to waste it. We're going to try a little pull. One more pull for the road, Deadshot. Oh, heck yeah. I can't go full yeet because I'm not in gear. You see I got my man shirt on today. Dixon, man, shout out for the swag, man. But I can't go full yeet because it is literally just too high. It is literally just high. But
Yes, sir. There you go, man. I'm telling you guys, you want to definitely subscribe to him, man. Really cool guy. Great vibes on his videos, and you could see his demeanor with him with other people. Really, really dope. And Eli, I really appreciate you taking the time coming through tonight and spending a couple of hours with us, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I really don't take this opportunity lightly. And you know what you're doing with your channel, I think is great. And for you to trust your platform for me to come on, dude, I don't take that lightly, bro. I seriously, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, man. Anytime. Guys, by the way, I think I have a really big guest next week, so if you guys want to let people know, come through. It's a seasoned person, has been in the business. It's a professional, has been in the business for years and years. Even myself, I'm a little taken back that he's going to be on. So very excited for that. Hopefully everything gets through and they do have time. So very excited. I'm going to give Eli the floor and let him promote his channel. Let him, you know, let you guys know where to find him and stuff. And again, his link's going to be in the description. So I'm going to give you full screen, man.
Okay. Cool.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity. I am Eli, aka Dude Mungus. So you can find me if it's a social media platform. I'm the same everywhere. So it's Dude DUDE _MUNGUX. You can find me there on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. What else? There's the app, Tunnit app. That's a motorcycle app. You can find me there. I run a YouTube, Instagram, this social media channel, just bringing a different point of view to the motorcycle world, just how we have fun as a community. And it's all about love. It's all about positive vibes. And we literally just have fun. It's a judgment-free zone. Do what you want to do with your bike because you pay for it. So I would truly appreciate it if you guys would give me a shout out, give me a follow. I don't take it lightly, so appreciate it. Dude _Mungus. I'll let your boy, Mr. Suzuki.
Oh my God, you calling yourself Mr. Suzuki now? Oh my God.
Mr. Suzuki. I'm about to put
Jeez,
Suzuki, I'm about to
man.
make Suzuki's on the map again, man.
Oh
about to
my
change the
God.
narrative.
We have to do one more question before we go.
Okay, let's do it.
How do you call it? Cezanne is asking here. Question for the two of you: 2022 Panigale V4 or the V4S? Remember, money's being a factor. If money's a factor, then you would have to go the V4. But me personally, man, like I said, I told you my little story earlier. Every time I went out and I didn't get that S model or the SB model, it was bothering me. So I'd say just don't buy yet. Just save a little bit more and then have what you need to just get exactly what you want. If you're buying a premium bike like this, you're already in the hole for a big chunk of money. Just do it. Like Nike, just do it. That's what I say. What about you, Eli?
Just do it. I have a slightly different approach because Deadshot was a base model, 1199. So instead of spending the money that I would have spent on getting the S model, I just kind of put that into the bike. I got the exhaust I wanted. I got the carbon wheels I wanted. And I had the bike literally set up how I want it for a fraction, of the cost of what it would have cost to, get that upgraded model. But these upgraded models are definitely nice, and some of the features they come with, like, I can't lie, the ride is pretty good on the S, having, the active suspension and,
yes,
all that stuff like that. But there's a beauty to the static system as well, like it's
Oh, Eli, don't go there. Don't go there.
Hey, man, I can't, something about the simplicity.
I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be the last little debate since we're both on here. If you get the S, okay.
Yeah.
That active suspension. I jump on my Street Fighter, and we're in New York. There's a lot of potholes. That thing is managing everything so nicely. And if you gotta be with your boys, you're gonna ride. You can fix that bike to be static. So it does both.
Gotcha.
It does both. You could set it up to just be static. If you want to be super stiff, you're just doing like racing with people, go to your settings, or at least you could preset it in your memory and switch it. So again, if money's an option, you have to get the other one, because once you do get the regular V4, you cannot get the electronics put on. You could get better suspension, but you can't get the electronics.
Get the electronics put on.
But you can't go back, but you can go forward. So.
Gotcha. And I guess that there's a point to what you're talking about. I guess it would also depend on your riding style, because I know road race guys, we're always like, hey, base model so it can be lighter. You know what I mean? But depending on your riding style, if you're not a road racer and you will be riding a lot of commuting miles, just like you said, it handles the potholes and stuff like beautifully. So that would, for me, be a reason to get an S, because I'm not racing all the time. I actually ride regular more than I race.
Anyway, guys, thank you, Eli. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in tonight, man. We had a nice little turnout, man. Thank you, everybody who hit that thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions and you're not part of the live chat, you want to drop it in the comment section. We'll reply. Again, Eli's link's going to be in, well, I'm not going to say Eli. Dude Mungus's link, channel link's going to be in the description. Definitely go show him some love. Subscribe, whether you're watching this tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month, a year from now, because this lives on forever. It's on YouTube. So show him love and help him grow. All right, we'll catch you guys all later. Peace.
All right, peace.